Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
We've got the blues, folks, and it's not the process blues. It's the emotional blues, as the Carolina Panthers have fallen to 0-2 to start the 2023 season with a lackluster beginning to Bryce Young's beginning as a quarterback rookie year for the Carolina Panthers, and more of a slow start for Frank Reich, a coach who is known for slow starts. Now, fans are already asking, is he the guy for the job even, which is wild in some cases? Will he continue calling plays? Now the media is asking him this. How will the Carolina Panthers rebound as they go on to play teams like the Dolphins, the Lions, on the road next against the Seahawks? 5.5-point dogs on the road. A little surprised it's not even more at this point. Will the Carolina Panthers start the season better than 0-6? I got the blues, and it's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. I'm here with my homeboy, my wheelman. He was at the game. He was at the game last night, Cody Lack. Man, we had a time on the post game. It was not as apocalyptic as I expected, though.
Yeah, man. Listen, it was very eye-opening being there in person, and boy, do I have a lot to report back to you all here tonight, man. Lots of thoughts, lots of opinions. I feel like the Panthers have no run game, no effective run game. I watched all of those receivers struggle to get open. And no, before everyone says it, I'm not making excuses for Bryce, but this is a pretty piss-poor offense. And I do believe that unless some changes are going to be made before the trade deadline, I kind of think some heads might roll. But listen, man, you already know that it's Tuesday night. There's nowhere I'd rather be than with my boys wrapping it up about Panther football. And Tony, you know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know him, I love him. Miss our boy Drew. What's up, Drew? Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Diesel Skills, the brand ambassador, David Screws, Dimitri Contos, Indiana One, Just Don't Care, Kristen Delane. What's up, Kristen? Matt MJF, Michael Johnson, Muscles Marinara, Paisan, My Life, My Story Jay. What's up? Richard's Outdoor World, Roosevelt Mongo, Supreme Elita in the chat, Sideshow, Tim Estes, Tim Stellings, Tyler Jones, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Love to see all those green tags rolling through the chat right there, as a lot of super fans are here to get through this moment with the C3 Panthers podcast. Giant show last night, over 300 viewers for a large majority of the show, and the calls have still been flying in over the last hour. My phone has been a buzzing. So Panther fans have a lot to say about this team. Derek Brown and Michael Thomas in a tuffle in the tunnel. Can't wait to talk about that going forward, as well as we've got PFF grades. We've got the latest NFL news, but we've also got the voice that makes a moist. Hello, CK.
How's it going? I'm glad to have another Tuesday night with you boys. I haven't hung out back-to-back night with you since we were at training camp, and there was a lot more optimism at that point in time. Man, this is it is sobering, but it also is one of these things that we've learned to expect as Panthers fans. We get excited in the offseason, and we find ourselves disappointed by the end of the season. And you know, that's many of our wives probably experience that on a weekly basis. So just fun to be here talking with you guys.
I have not been to a game in person since the pandemic, I believe, since I went last in Charlotte. And last night I learned that the Uptown Cabaret is no longer in existence. Where the heck did you go, Cody?
Oh, bro, why would I ever tell, man? Some things are better left a secret, man. You know.
No
Hey,
kissing and telling.
Yeah, man. Look, we had a great time last night. After that performance, your boy needed to get a little bit tore up from the floor up. Shout out to Kevin. He says, "Cody, you a nasty son of a bitch last night." Nah, it ain't like that, bro. It's not just a penicillin. Nah.
Imagine having an itch. Cody would have an itch. He couldn't scratch it.
Dude, you don't know the half of it, dog. But yeah, man, no, it was a great night. I also felt like, listen, I've been to 3 Panther games in my life, lucky enough and blessed enough to go. I felt that it was a great crowd last night. It was loud. It was packed. I don't know what it looked like from the broadcast, but there was a lot of people there. I felt like it was a good turnout. Great showing. But man, as soon as the Saints got that final score, people started to walk out because they already knew what was up.
Are we ready to rumble? Yes, we are. And thanks to Gregory. Greg, the stat daddy, the bat daddy, good to hang out with you again. Look at him sipping his C3 mug right there. Look how good that thing looks.
I don't have a lot to say. Right now, I'm just going to sit back for the next few weeks, and I just want everybody to know that there's no application, there's no fee. You're free to walk up my hill, and you know, just be on my side right now. So there was a lot of things that went on last night in the post game show as far as people who've been giving me shit, kind of walking it back or looking the other way. There was some really
you're
fun stuff.
Still getting comments each week that you're not a fan of the Panthers, though.
I know, but like I said, my hill's getting crowded. Every week, more and more people join my cult.
People either love the bat daddy or they hate every word that he says.
Can we? Hey, listen, I'm a bigger guy. Can we use a different metaphor than something that's going to require exercise?
DK's like, I'll stand here at the bottom of this hill.
Hey, bro, I echo those same sentiments. I'm not down for the exercising either.
Kev said he's drinking G Baby Tears. You know that right. 2 years ago, I came up with an idea of a G Baby Tears mug because of that. And maybe we're going to bring that idea back. We've already got some super chats in the house. Pull them up, read them out, and then we'll tell them how they can support the show. We're at 90 viewers now. I need that. 10,000, man. Share this link.
Let's go. My man C Dog, 1983 TV. What's up, brother? Long time no see. This is Bryce Young isn't the answer. Hit the like button. All right, coming out swinging, bro. And yeah, Kev says I'm a nasty son of a bitch who needs penicillin, and I refuse to comment. How about that?
It's the C3 Panthers podcast. You can be a part of the show by clearly being in the chat room, which is always one of the littest places on the internet. You can become a C3 super fan for just $1.99 and get access to additional content and opportunities. Like yesterday, each and every post-game show, we play Mega Mingo, and boy, we filled out some squares last week. One more sack we would have, and actually we need to go back and revisit the Mega Mingo card. Remember this for next week. I think we got 4+ sacks on the card, and when I made that's the next time I got to do 4.5 so that we don't have this lack of clarity. Is 4+ sacks 4 or more, or is it 5? I made the card. I guess I could decide, but I need y'all's help. C3 super fans, $1.99, get an opportunity each and every week to be eligible for Mega Mingo, where we're going to give the Jonathan Mingo jersey out at some point, and it looks like it's going to be sooner than later. Then we'll clear the card again and run it back, baby. So much fun there. You can find the show on Spotify, on iTunes, on TuneIn, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe. The best thing you can do to share is to share the show with a friend. As the Pat McAfee fella says, be a friend, tell a friend. We're hitting 100 viewers now. Last night we had over 300. You guys got to be part of this community. It's rocking and rolling. The number's 252-228-5098. The Carolina Panthers have started 0-2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0. The Atlanta Falcons are 2-0. Now the Saints are 1-1, and the Panthers have fallen to the bottom. Not surprising that the Panthers are struggling with a new coaching staff, a rookie quarterback, but boy, the hill to climb towards any sight of success is getting steeper and steeper by the moment as we go on the road to Seattle, followed by Miami, followed by the Vikings and the Lions. I may have flip-flopped an order in there, guys, but there's a good chance that the Panthers could start this season 0-6. They're certainly not going to be favored in any of these upcoming games. Cody, you were at the game. How bad is it right now? Carolina Panther fans, some of them have been freaking out. Some of them have been freaking out, and I don't know if that is an overreaction or if it's necessary. Should we?
Don't panic.
Should we be panicking?
So listen, man, I know Bryce Young takes all the air out of the room. I mean, he's the quarterback that we traded up to number 1 for. He's the guy that's supposed to be the savior of our offense, the savior of this team. I understand that. But I'm just going to be honest with you because I've never been anything else other than honest. When you're watching the game, Bryce Young does not look like the problem with this team. What I see are a bunch of wide receivers that never get open. And listen, real quick, I want to issue a personal apology to Anthony Piccarello, who, by the way, did a bang-up job on the show last night. I caught some of them. Thanks for filling in for me, bro. And JJ, because they have been saying for a long time that our wide receiver core is boo-boo, that they're trash. And, dude, when I'm sitting here telling you that Jonathan Mingo, other than the final drive of the game, Jonathan Mingo is not getting open. Now, granted, it's only 2 games, but there are other rookie wide receivers through 2 games that have looked far better than Jonathan Mingo. The man is getting absolutely no separation. DJ Chark, I know it was his first game back, but it ran a lot of real lazy routes. Again, no Terrace Marshall at all to be found. Adam Thielen, again, no speed to him, but yet he remains the most consistent wide receiver on the field. And what makes it even worse than the Panther or opposing defenses, knowing that the Panthers are not going to be able to throw the ball deep, the Panthers were not able to run the ball at all last night. Boring play calling, running Miles Sanders up the middle for 2 or 3 yards at a time. They were just able to do nothing. And I understand why people are already calling for Thomas Brown to pick up the play calling, because right now, everything that they're doing on offense looks uninspired. It looks boring, and it looks like no one has any desire to want to go out there and beat someone's ass. There is zero edge to our offense as is. On the other side of the ball, our defensive front 7 is nasty. They really are, man. They were pressuring Derek Carr, getting home, hitting him. I mean, they were really doing their job. And early on, just like versus Atlanta, they kept us in that ball game. But as time goes on, that defensive backfield is torn to shreds. Dante Jackson, missing plays, out of coverage. CJ Henderson, my Lord, CJ Henderson. Our defensive
that's
backfield,
being too hard on him, man.
No, you're not hard enough.
Man,
you're not hard
Olave catch was fucking miraculous, dude.
Every single game now, there is a play where CJ Henderson is being absolutely destroyed. There's no more excuses for it, man.
Well, you were making a ton of excuses for Bryce Young right now.
Whatever.
Because here's the thing, Cody, is that he just didn't have a great game. A good game. He was not good yesterday.
2 good games.
Yeah.
He didn't have 2 good games.
I think week 1 was better than week 2.
Fine, but he was nowhere near the worst player on the field.
That's caveat in a lot of things. Just say this. So you don't have to say but. Just say he didn't have a good game.
Yeah, it didn't have. But again,
That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say because you can say. Now here's this. There's this stupid ass clip floating around right now of the almost pick he threw to that one guy that Adam Thielen reached back and blew up. And they're like, there's no way he shouldn't have more separation on that route. There's no way you should throw a fucking loopy lollipop over to the corner and think that somebody can't go get that and track it down. So it doesn't matter if he was 3 steps ahead of that dude or not. When you throw the loopy lollipop, somebody's going to go track that sucker down. So, like, I mean, this is the thing is the excuses. The excuses, look, the Carolina Panthers are not a good team outside of their defense at the moment. They can't, and is right now, it's a rolling goal. It's a moving goalpost of what the actual problem is. But I don't really have a problem that the fact is that Bryce Young isn't great at this moment. A lot of people are like, oh, well, he's not Aaron Rodgers right out the gate. So you hate this. No, what we were told is that of all the quarterbacks, he was going to be the most pro ready. We were maybe they inflated our expectations so much to where I almost thought he wasn't going to struggle. I mean, like it was like, and maybe that's just me sipping the Kool-Aid or whatever it was. But the idea is that he's left plays on the field, which is fine. Everybody's going to leave plays on the field, but he didn't have a good game, bro. He had a lot of missed opportunities, and man, I'm telling you that he had.
I disagree with you on a lot
Cody,
of them.
I'll add one.
This may go twice deep over this.
I'm not saying that there weren't, but I'm saying a lot of them seems a little bit far-fetched to me, especially when you consider Bryce Young and that running scramble. If it wasn't for Bryce Young and his mobility, we would not have any.
He's not even crazy mobile, though, Cody. He's not even crazy mobile.
It doesn't matter. He was the only one picking up first downs.
You're right.
Our bitch-ass wide receivers.
I may not say.
Receivers are fucking dog shit, bro. I'm here to tell you. And by the way,
2 weeks ago, we had the best wide receiver core in Carolina history.
And you're right. And that's why
now they're dog shit.
And that's why I apologize.
Bryce takes no blame for it.
I apologize to JJ. I apologize to Anthony. They tried to tell me that this receiving core was not it. And they're right. If y'all want to take this as, I'm making excuses for Bryce.
Well, what do you call it?
I'm not saying I'm not saying that Bryce played well.
What did he do well yesterday?
If you're pick up the only meaningful first down.
So he had one scramble on a wide open field.
And the only meaningful touchdown drive. What did any of his wide receivers do for him, Tony?
Cody,
what did the defense do on that touchdown drive, Cody?
Was open all the time. He just wasn't.
Cody,
Mingo has been my biggest disappointment so far.
Cody, you argue that there are not a lot, like when Tony says a lot, I can almost guarantee you when I go back and watch the All-22, there is the exact same amount of bad plays where Bryce Young had a clean pocket and a shot hit the receiver that he didn't do, as there are plays where the pocket was blown up or the receiver didn't do what they were supposed to do. I guarantee you it's 50-50. I guarantee you.
He just didn't have a good game.
If you're going to say there's not a lot of plays he didn't do bad, you can't say there's a lot of plays the wide receivers did bad. You can't do it. You can't have it both ways.
Oh, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes,
no, it doesn't work that way, man. It doesn't work that way.
It's all about that counter recognition, dude.
Nope.
Because let me tell you this. I promise you.
What did he do well yesterday? No, enlighten us. You were there. Tell us what he did well. Because if you say a scramble up the middle on 3rd and long where they play a prevent defense and the middle of the field completely opens up wide and you have a 22-year-old kid that goes and runs 25 yards, are we supposed to holy fuck, I ain't ever, holy cow, man. Watch out, Anthony Richardson. He got wheels.
He hit some nice out routes to the sideline to DJ Chark. A number of different. I can even pull up some of the clips.
Look here, let's look at Sharks.
Listen, I can pull up the clips. Now we were getting demonetized.
I remember one. No,
but you're not remembering it right. I'm telling you.
I'm going to look up Sharks stats.
There were a number of different plays where Bryce put the ball on the money.
Where he didn't.
Listen, I'm not. No, see, this is what everyone's doing. Everyone's saying that if I have the gall to say how dog shit our wide receivers are, then I'm making excuses for Bryce. That's not it. I'm not sitting here telling you that Bryce was incredible. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that Bryce Young is the problem with this offense, then you're not watching the same team that I am.
I'm not saying
That's
he's
what
the
I didn't
problem.
say it was a problem. I just said he
He's
didn't
a
have a
problem.
good game, dude.
He's a
Yeah,
problem.
no one
with the
did.
offense.
Tell me
Yeah,
one
he's
player
not
on
the
offense
problem.
that did. Tony, who played well on
Nobody.
offense?
Nobody. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not a single person. And I don't have to say but. I could
But
say
we
this.
traded 2
Zero
first-round
people.
picks and DJ for this. He's supposed to lift these players up. You guys argued he had a bad wide receiver core and a bad offensive line in
Bro,
Alabama and still
DJ
dominated.
Shark had one catch.
That's what I'm saying. You
yesterday.
guys argued all
You
this
said
shit
several
before the season
times.
started.
He had one catch for 15 yards, Cody.
I'm playing the
Yeah.
clips. No,
Yeah,
you
he
picked
had
me
one
up.
catch. I'm looking at the stats. I remember the exact. Don't play the clip. I'm looking at the stats. Look, Adam Thielen was 7 for 54 with a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard was 5 for 34.
There
with
was
the-
one play that DJ Chark got.
Yeah,
That
one.
was to the
You
left
said
sideline.
Okay.
There was in the final drive that we end up scoring a touchdown. There was a tight window throw that Bryce made to Jonathan Mango.
Good.
That was
You mean that
right where
they're
it needed to
playing
be.
prevent defense? That look, we don't need to defend him at this moment. He just didn't play well, Cody.
Yeah, and neither did our wide receivers.
But
True.
that's
And,
Fine.
and what I'm here to tell you
But-
is it's a bigger problem than you're making it out to be.
Here's the difference, Cody.
It's a
The wide
very big
receivers
problem.
can't play well if Bryce doesn't play well. Like it's a
That-
symbiotic relationship.
that's
dude.
not
And-
entirely true.
And vice
It is
versa.
true. You cannot have a great
No,
game as a
no,
wide
no,
receiver if you have a
Greg.
bad quarterback. game.
Greg,
There's no
that is
way.
not true.
How?
How many 1,000 yards receiving did DJ Moore have with a mediocre and less than one of the bottom tier quarterbacks? He did it with Kyle Allen. He did it with Teddy Bridgewater. He did it with Sam Darnold. The dude. I mean, you can't say that. And the other piece of this is, if you have a good quarterback, if you have a bad quarterback, you can still perform bad as a wide receiver, never even get a target coming your way because you're not getting separation. That's the concern here. I'm in agreement with Cody. I think that, I think we're putting so much blame on Bryce, but there has to be blame on the wide receiver core as well. Like when there
I'm
were
not blaming
opportunities.
CK. I think that's the thing is people have to blame so much. CK, I don't even like that word. You can say this. The only thing I agree right now is that entire offense played like shit.
Right. But the
I agree
problem
with that
is
statement.
where Cody is having to defend where his position is people that are saying that this was on Bryce, that this performance was horrible. And Bryce didn't play well, but it's also okay to say that everybody else didn't play well either.
Agreed. I agree with that. And I'm not disagreeing with that point at all. Like I said, I'm not putting all the blame on Bryce, but he does shoulder some of this blame. He was meant to be what we traded him for. If we drafted him naturally, it'd be different. We traded for this guy. He was supposed to be the guy. And my counter to the DJ Moore thing is DJ Moore wasn't a bad receiver. We're not arguing DJ Moore was a bad receiver. He had great games.
Right. But my point being is that you can have a bad quarterback and you still perform underwhelmingly.
Well, okay, but if a quarterback throws for 200 yards and 150 of them are to one receiver, then of course the wide receiver is going to have a good game when the quarterback had a bad game.
Let's
I
just
show
say
y'all-
this. I did not expect, first of all, without that last drive, Cody, he would not have been 22 for 33. Right?
And
Is
he would have
that
had less
soft,
than 100
that
yards.
soft prevent defense let us go down the field? It wasn't like he was a miraculous play all of a sudden. All right. The real thing for me is I don't care
didn't
about
say
the
that it was.
statistics. I
He
don't
had
care
some
about the
nice
statistics. I don't care about, okay, well, good. He's the fucking number 1 draft pick. He should have some nice throws, Cody. If he didn't have some nice throws, that would be even more
So stop
fucking
playing like
ridiculous.
he's Zach Wilson.
I didn't
or like
say
he's
that.
Zach
I just
Wilson
said
has
this.
some
I'm
nice
willing to
throws.
say he had a bad
And y'all
game,
talking
dude.
Zach
about
Wilson has some
Bryce.
nice throws. What are you
You're
talking about?
talking like he just played like utter dog shit.
No,
He
I
played
said
worse
he had a
than
bad
Zach
game.
Wilson. Dude, look at his stats. He played worse than Zach Wilson. That's a bad example. Zach Wilson
I'm
had
not
like
giving up
great
on the
first
dude. I'm
game.
just saying this is to make a bunch of caveats of why he isn't doing well is also, it's like, here, why don't we just put it down the fairway on this one and just say this is that the receivers aren't getting things done. Jonathan Mingo hasn't been as maybe as exciting or productive as somebody like Zay Flowers or Tank, whatever the other Tank something or
Jalen, I believe Jalen Watkins,
or even the Rams guy, right? So yes, you could say that. Last night, the Panthers offensive line played really poorly in comparison to the way they played last week. It's actually kind of strange of what happened last night and how almost is. I can understand Bryce struggling again.
Yes.
Brand new.
Really
I can
high.
understand that. The implosion at offensive line, which you could say injuries, the implosion with the play calling and this superstar coaching staff. I just thought this, Cody, that it would be better than this. Regardless if you're ready to say the wide receivers are dog shit. I mean, fine. Okay. I mean, I'm not even really ready to say that. I think that is even an overreaction, but hey, even if they are dog shit, I thought we would be more competitive than this. CK kept coming back last night to ultimately how, hey, maybe this is a testament to some good defenses. That could also be a factor here. I just was like this. I kept telling myself, we drafted Bryce Young for the intangible moment, And you know what? The defense gave opportunity after opportunity last night to let us hang around. You could have just wiped all this discussion away with one positive drive, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. And that doesn't fall only on Bryce. It certainly doesn't fall only on the receivers. And it certainly doesn't only fall on the offensive line, because there were plenty of times where they offered okay protection or better or adequate protection. If anything, we probably are saying this, and I'm asking you guys right now, is the honeymoon with Frank Reich over before we even got back from the honeymoon, right? Like, are we fighting on the plane back home from the first week away as a married couple?
And listen, and then I want to read some super chats. People really want us to read these super chats whenever they send them in. I promise. We always see them.
Pay up.
We always see them, and we always get to them. We promise. But I mean, listen, when it comes to this team, one of the things that you also didn't mention is the change in left guard and right guard. They said that they weren't going to move Chandler Zavala around.
That surprised me.
And they did. They moved him to left guard.
Didn't work.
We already have some big time injuries that we're talking about. And you know what, Tony? And you've said this before. We have Panthers traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
And we now have this tendency.
The shirt's coming.
Where Frank Reich is starting to sound very eerily similar to a certain someone in his press conferences. Always needs to watch the film. Always has an excuse. Now Frank Reich is out there telling everybody, "Oh, this offense, in a short amount of time, they'll be capable of putting up between 28 and 30 points." And dude, Panther fans do not want to hear that. That is the last thing that you want to hear. We're tired of all these empty promises that lead to absolutely nowhere. And I said this before. You might have disagreed with me at the time, Tony, but if during the preseason you're going to run this vanilla bullshit offense that you're trying to save your playbook for the openers against Atlanta and New Orleans, and you don't look at all different, I would have rather that you open it up and got into more of a rhythm with your number ones playing your actual playbook, because now it's set the expectations for what Panther fans were hoping to see from this offense. It set them far too high for what they're actually capable of. Panther fans are pissed, man.
Let's read the super chats. We got some things to get to, a lot of different things. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Tyler Jones here. He said, if you think Bryce Young is not the answer after 2 games, you're an idiot. It's not just Bryce Young, poor coaching, no weapons, injuries, rookie QB. No problem.
Right.
No, I don't think no one's disputing that. Right. Thank you, Tyler, for the donation of $4.99. No one's disputing that, but I also don't want people to dispute. If you're saying he had a good game last night, I can't.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that.
So
I'm not
I just
saying
want to
that.
say this is I think the fairest thing you said is the entire offense played poorly.
And you know what?
And that's from the coaching staff on the offensive side down. They were given short fields. They were given opportunities. And I'm not sour on Frank Reich just yet. I was a little irritated that he kind of was stubborn in his press conference about how he could have changed some things, but I will take issue with the vanilla play call in one moment. Here's C-Dog, 1983 TV, $2. He said, Cam Newton threw for 400 yards in his first and second game. Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever. Here it comes. A chorus of he had Steve Smith
and Greg Olsen and Jeremy Shockey. Are you really about to sit there and pretend like that doesn't matter?
You know who he also had was he was a fucking awesome offensive
Jonathan
coordinator.
Stewart and D'Angelo Williams.
I think Jonathan Stewart was hurt that year, maybe. But who was that? We had an awesome, he was he had a cool name too. Somebody in the chat help me out. Who our offensive coordinator was in Cam Newton's rookie season. It was. Now here's White Chocolate Espresso. Chudzinski. That's right. Rod Chudzinski. That amount we trade for Bryce, he won't be judged like other rookie QBs. He's had 2 bad games. I saw a wide receiver in Hurst open a couple of times. He overthrew. Yeah. And I think, look, it's okay to have bad. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not freaking out. I just get irritated at this point where we just can't say he didn't play well. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's rookie's going to come with bumps and bruises. I don't need it. I'm not giving up on him. I'm not giving up on Frank Reich yet. I think I don't even like the vanilla play call shit that you guys say. You don't have to have some crazy schematics to win games. What you have to know is you have to see things that are working and not working at the moment. And what you can do is when you aren't able to run the ball, you don't give up on the run, but you find other ways to manufacture what would be quote unquote rushing yards. And that is screen pass. Why is Miles Sanders? Look, Miles Sanders he had 3 catches for 4 yards. Can we find ways maybe to get some two back sets out there and do some things like that? Can you have some different when it's just not working and you're not winning the point of attack? Do you just keep trying the same thing over and over, or do you diversify? Here's Pipe Slinger with a $9.99 love bomb. He said CJ and Axon Jackson played fine. They only let big plays happen late in the game when they were gassed from bailing out the offense. Hold Bryce accountable for missing wide open wide receivers. I sort of agree with that because, look, the defense played well. At some point, they're going to get, it's like, how long can you hold back the flood, right? How long can the dike hold back the waters? Dante fell for a double move. That was that like Greg noticed and said last week was the same exact thing that they did late in the game. CJ was right there. He's so scared to get a pass PI, and that was, let's give some real credit right there, that was a phenomenal catch by Chris Olave. But on the other side, you had Von Bell, Jeremy Chin, and Xavier Woods, who had great games. Let's get into the presentation real quick. Don't forget, before we do that, this show is brought to you by Caldera Labs. Caldera Labs is a sponsor for us throughout the entire season. And I tell you this, it is a great, fantastic way to get looking good, fellas. It is a twice-a-day skin regimen that will slow your aging process. I tell you, my skin feels better. I actually put the nighttime serum on right before I came on the show. Right? It's helping the black under my eyes. It's helped the blackheads on my nose. It's helping soften some of these deep ass wrinkles I got from looking like a damn mean ass resting bitch face Sicilian all the time. It's helping, folks. Caldera Lab products are really good, man. I'm actually speaking from experience at this point, but you're going to want that 20% off. I promise you that. The products last a long time. It's a twice-a-day skin regimen that will make you look good, feel good, play good, like the Panthers defense in a way. Go to calderalab.com/C3 for 20% off your order. I'm telling you, there's scientific evidence right now. After 8 weeks, people look younger. Man, you got like The Rock and people. Well, I mean, I actually got to go look down. I see like famous people all the time using the Caldera Labs. Great product, calderalab.com/C3. Help us continue to grow by checking our sponsors. Even if you just visit the website using that, that's alone a win for us to go give it a look, see what you like. I know sometimes good things cost money, but they last. Right now, I've been using this product for almost 2 months, and I haven't even put a dent in a lot of this stuff. So go to calderalab.com/C3 and get your 20% off. Let's jump into some of the details that we have prepared, some of the preparations. Actually, you know what? Big news here is big injury hit the Carolina Panthers last night with Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson was kind of got hit in some friendly fire and after the play, I think it might have been Deshaun Williams. And
it was. I can even play the clip of it too.
I'm good.
It's like 7 seconds. It's not even enough to get us.
Okay. If you want to, Shaq Thompson, though, ended up breaking is it your tibula or your fibula?
Is fibula.
Fibula. He had surgery. This is from the Charlotte Observer today. Is Panthers longtime leader Shaq Thompson undergoes surgery less than 24 hours after the injury. Many reports believe that he will be missing the entire season. Shaq put out a thank you message today for real Panther fans. Boy, he's heard some of the criticism. It's got, he's had to deal through some tough lean years with Matt Rule. He was excited to be playing on that defense, but it looks like the emotional and psychological leader of this team in so many ways outside of Brian Burns is now going to be missing. The injuries continue to pile up in Carolina and the wins aren't. So Cody, what do we got here? Shaq Thompson you put out a great tweet. We talked about it on the post-game show last night. We really get to see how important Shaq Thompson is to the defense now. Absolutely.
And by the way, he's been a player that's taken a lot of criticism over these years. A lot. And, that's why he kind of put that in his remark, shout out to the real Panther fans, because there's a lot of people that are always talking sideways about Shaq and how overrated he is. And some even here on the show.
Hey, man, I fell in love with him, too. You know what? This is what happens when you put all-pro expectations on a guy before you even see him. Yeah. And he was like fighting an uphill battle with Tony Dunn because I bought his jersey before he played it down.
That was your bad.
Yeah. And so it's like this is
he changed his number too.
Yeah. But I'll say this though, man. As soon as I put out that tweet, they put in Camus Cruz Hill, and the dude was awesome. Good. The dude looks good. So
that's my point, Cody.
Yeah. I know it kind of came off like I'm saying, oh yeah. Well, now you'll see how good Shaq Thompson is. That's not really how I meant it. Like, well, now we're gonna find out.
It was a real legitimate. I thought it was a litmus test of actually how important. I thought it was a great way of putting it. I didn't read sarcasm into it at all. Yeah. I thought it was like,
the defense didn't look any worse after Shaq Thompson left.
I think
I don't think it looked any worse after better. Left. Yeah,
and I don't mean that again. I listen. I haven't
tipped.
Right. I think that Shaq Thompson has got the short end of the stick because he came in here to a team that has a fan base used to having elite linebackers. Right. Throughout our entire history, we have been known to have elite. So Shaq Thompson was already going to be fighting an uphill battle. He was the first round draft pick. At a linebacker position, he was learning from the two greatest linebackers in recent history among Panther fans, and that's Luke and TD, right? And he got the reins, and so to his defense, like he played well, and he has been a consummate pro for the Panthers. But when we saw him come out of the game, like we said, and this is no knock on the guy, it didn't feel like it was as big of a hit as I think many people who are big Shaq fans would have expected. And that is a surprise. I don't know if this means Deion Jones is going to get an opportunity to come in and back up again, or how that's going to look. But This is interesting, man. I think Cody, that tweet was very, very profound, especially in hindsight. Now that we see what this defense looked like, even without Shaq, it didn't. Now, to be fair as well, it did get worse towards the end of the game, but I don't know if that's a Shaq issue. I think that's the offense not keeping the defense off the field issue.
Yeah, Jay Thomas asked. He said he doesn't know much about Camus Grugier Hill. Camus Grugier Hill was drafted in the 6th round, 208th overall in the 2016 draft by the New England Patriots. He was waived as part of their final roster cuts. He did find himself on the Philadelphia Eagles in 2016. I want to believe that was if that was their Super Bowl year, then he would have, or the next year, he would have been around Frank Reich at some point. At least he would have heard the name Frank Reich or somehow would have encountered them. Right. He then would go on to sign in 2020 a 1-year contract with the Dolphins, which reunited him with Brian Flores, who had been the linebackers coach for the Patriots when he was drafted. He was then on 2021, he signed a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans. Frank Reich would have learned about him on December 5th, 2021. If you didn't remember him from Philadelphia, he would find out about him on December 5th, where in one game against the Colts, Grugier Hill set the Texans franchise record for tackles in a single game with 19 tackles. He re-signed with the Texans last year in 2022. And in October 2022, Grugier Hill asked for and was granted his release from the Texans. He said, "Let me out of here" last year. And then he played a little bit with the Cardinals. Now he's with the Carolina Panthers. He had a fantastic preseason training camp. He was really a name that people were calling out all the time. And like My Life, My Story says, Camus might be a gem like Luvu. Camus and Luvu, right, is that those guys. Luvu is another guy who he was an undrafted free agent. This guy, some people might argue he's one of the best. He's the best player on the defense in some cases. I know you're going to say Brian Burns. I think it's Derek Brown, but it's the trifecta of really good players that are making differences to me.
I think the argument for Luvu is he's the most consistent player on this defense, and I don't even think it's close.
205 people watching the broadcast. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show by calling in at 252-228-5098. Greg, you said you had a poll in the chat. What is that poll?
I do. I have a poll, and it's actually one of the most equal polls I put in here right now. It's kind of building up at 65%. So I asked all three of y'all this last night, but I wanted to get Cody's opinion too. If Carolina goes 0-6, do we trade Brian Burns to get back in the first round of the 2024 draft?
No. I have another hot take about trades.
Right now, it's 64% yes by the fans and 36% no with 131 votes.
Saw a little limp in Brian Burns last night. So, nobody can survive any game without getting hurt, particularly if you're with the 2023 Carolina Panthers. What is your take on that, Cody? If the Panthers were to start 0-6, is Brian Burns being shopped?
Yeah, I think you have to, because then you're looking at having one of the worst teams in football without a first-round draft pick. And you've denied paying him the money that he wants anyway. So you might as well. You know what really doesn't help? Brian Burns? And look, I'm a Brian Burns defender. I love Brian Burns. I think he's a great player. I think he's gotten better year after year. But whenever you see what a guy like TJ Watt does, last night, by the way, who literally just takes over a football game, he's always going to be compared to that. And even though I feel that he is a tremendous player,
he wants to get paid like that.
He is getting better, and I do believe that he is capable of that. He has not put that on film. So if we're staring down the barrel at another season where we might have where our team, the pick that we're going to send to Chicago is in the top 3 or top 5, yeah, you bet your ass that we should trade Brian Burns, especially if we haven't paid him at that point in time. I will say this. I don't know how, if this doesn't change, Fitterer has to make a trade before the deadline, right? I mean, in
he
my
has to.
mind,
I agree.
he absolutely has
Yeah,
to.
100%. Think about this. This is some crazy shit right here. Think about if we traded the Bears could have, with our pick and their pick, 2 top 3 picks.
They'd
be
Hold on.
fighting with the Cardinals.
Imagine, but that's still top 3. Like, they're still one of the worst teams in the NFL. So are we.
Cardinals are going to have back-to-back. Some people think they're going to have 1 and 2.
Cardinals have had 2 really good games that they could have won. So they may
exactly
not go.
What you want to do when you tank, lose, but always be competitive.
True. But what I'm saying is, just imagine for a second that we trade DJ Moore and Brian Burns to Chicago to play with Justin Fields, when we could have just drafted Justin Fields a year ago.
Oh god,
and had that
he's
on our
been
team.
so bad.
Like, just
dude.
imagine that. Like, look at how circular that is, man. Like, Brian
Any
Burns
chance
and
we
DJ
could
Moore
trade Brian
Chicago.
Burns for our pick from that we
gave Chicago? That's what I'm saying. We get the same pick
we'll
back.
give you
That's what I'm
Brian
saying.
Burns
How
for that
crazy
pick
is
back?
that
Give us that pick back. I
We
think
could've just
this
drafted
is.
Justin Fields on the same team.
I brought this up on the post game last night, Cody. Is that if you like, it's kind of hard to know exactly what the holdup is or has been with Brian Burns and the Panthers, right? They have been vocal about them wanting to extend them. We've had all of this stuff going around from last year with we passed up the trade. They've made him such, he's been such a centerpiece of the team and even a leadership mode. I feel like this is like, we're trying to figure out why the hell they just haven't been able to get it done, even if it was a little bit more expensive than you want. And one scenario is that they are afraid that they know he's a good player and an important player to them, but they also know that, or they might believe that 30 or whatever it is an overpay. And while he's important, you got to try to take the emotion out of things right there. And so if you do believe that, or if you're concerned about an overpay, if that's something lingering in the back of your mind, then I don't understand why it would seem that at least considering the idea of trading him would be something you would have to kick the tires on in a way.
It's a must at that point in time.
Let's keep popping through the show. A lot of people got a lot of questions about Derek Brown and stuff. What is this? Let's go.
Hey, real quick, just because it was so kind. Oh, well, we got 2 of them. Jay Thomas says, do we know the details on Derek Brown and Michael Thomas competition? Jay, we're going to get right to it, brother. I promise. It is in the show notes. And then Charles June with the $5 says, hi. Just wanted to support the podcast.
Thank you so much, man.
We appreciate you, Charles. Let's jump back into this presentation. So this is
did we skip the one on the Williams?
I might have. Hang on.
Maybe did I miss where I thought I moved it, or maybe
no, there it is.
I
do want to play the clip. It's not going to ding us.
Okay, well, I just don't like looking at the injuries. Man, ever since I saw that,
dude,
like I've for someone who loves to watch people almost die on the internet all the time, I have had a lot of problems with the Aaron Rodgers injury that looked like a lampshade. Or not a lampshade, a window shade. Those old window shades you could pull and they would, like that's what when his Achilles ruptured, that's what his calf muscle did up his back of his leg. And then I saw that Nick Chubb one, and and so I saw this tweet today, and I wanted to ask you guys about it. Deshaun Williams came out here and he said, "Want to say for the so-called fans who think I would hurt someone on purpose is jokes. I'm sick at what happened. Not just my teammate, but someone that brought me into this team as a family." I don't understand this. Like, in what world would anybody suggest? So can you guys explain to me what anybody would suggest that he was trying to hurt?
They're saying that he hip tossed this guy onto Shaq Thompson that caused that break to happen. I mean, it's all bam. You can't blame it. It's similar to the situation with Bryce Young in preseason when we saw somebody almost roll up on his leg. We wanted to blame heavily Michael Jordan for letting that pressure get there, almost pushing him into him.
Keep your eyes on their left tackle. Deshaun Williams is over here.
Okay, so it is the hip toss play. He does.
Yeah, so watch. Then Shaq Thompson makes the tackle, hip toss right on to Shaq.
Oh, yeah. That's not it. No, man. He's just trying to punish the damn left tackle.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And I didn't really see it.
Happens.
I didn't really see it, but I guess people were insinuating they did not. Dude, some Panther fans are dumb as shit. Hey, I love y'all. And by the way, when I'm at the stadium, everybody that comes up and shows that C3 love, bro, you don't know how much it means to me. It's incredible.
Were you a superstar last night?
Oh, dude, there were at least 12 people, and more, probably even more, that came up and showed love and said hello, took pictures. It was incredible. But like Panthers Twitter has been wild lately. I mean, talking to players, about players, and just saying dumb shit. Like,
I think it's fine to talk about players, but when you start mentioning them, like,
why would Deshaun Williams ever do anything to hurt another one of his players? Like, it doesn't even make sense in the world. Yeah. Everyone listens to their emotions more than they listen to their brain, and it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just like to troll, and and you're trying to get a reaction. Kev says that's hard. That's playing hard through the whistle. All right, let's get back into the show right there. We're going to get to Michael Thomas and Derek Brown in just a moment, and your calls any second. The number's 252-228-5098. After the game last night, so we'll go back one. Sheena, I believe it was Sheena Quick who has asked this. Now this is the second time she asked this. She asked this at the third preseason, after the third preseason game.
I'm glad. Hey, but I'm glad.
2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
They do. I'm glad they do.
I hope that if Darren Gant calls out David Newton, which I got some beef, we'll talk about that in a little while, is that maybe he should call out Sheena Quick on this. And what I mean by that is that if he said David Newton was misusing his platform to stir up Panther fans. Anyway,
come on.
Yeah. This is what, when asked, I believe Sheena Quick was the one that asked this question about the possibility of handing off the play calling to Thomas Brown. This is not unprecedented in the NFL, as Nick Sirianni did this. And then they gave it to the Steichen guy, I believe, or whichever one was the offensive dude that went to the Colts, and things picked up. This was Frank Reich's response. He said, "That's not a change I would make in game. Listen, I've mentioned this before. The way we call plays, I'm calling the plays, but it's very collaborative. I'm talking to everyone on the sideline. I'm the one who calls it. I'm going to do what's best for the team. And right now, I think it's best for the team that I'm calling the plays. I'm confident in the play calling. We got to get better, but I'm not ready to do anything there. Thomas is a great coach. One day I want him to call them. When that will be, I don't know." Cody, earlier when everybody was kissing and hugging and loving on each other just 3 months ago, it really seemed like the timeline was going to be that Frank Reich had a much earlier timeline in mind of passing it off. Now this comment sounds like, that's really kind of, I would just say that to make y'all feel better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, listen, if you don't want people to ask that question of you, your offense needs to perform better. Like, literally, the reason why you go out and get a Thomas Brown to be your offensive coordinator is because he was so highly touted. Sean McVay loved him. He came from an offense that was putting up a lot of points and did so consistently. The Rams didn't want to lose him. And if you're going to have this vanilla, basic offense, like, guys, this looks the exact same as the offense from last year. Cannot sustain the drive. The defense does some good things, but the offense can never bail them out. They finally score points late in the football game when it doesn't even matter.
No bad passes, though.
It looks just like yeah, okay, no bad passes. That might be about it. But other than that, it's so vanilla. It's so I mean, there's nothing about it that's interesting. For the past 5 to 6 years, the Carolina Panthers have been allergic to a downfield passing attack. We're not even used to remembering what that looks like, man. It's like it doesn't happen here for us.
All right. Well, I guess I think to me if you're going to tell me to stop panicking and make all these excuses for all these other things, then I think Frank Reich deserves more time. I think last night, I thought the first game was fine. I thought last night's game it clearly wasn't working on the ground in so many ways. And in fact, I am one of the few people that I thought that, like, when we moved the ball, one of the good plays that Bryce had would have been a 3rd and 12, I believe, and that set us up for our first field goal to tie things up. So we were like on about the 50. It would have been like where we were at would have been like in a 60-yard field goal or something. And he picked up a good 7-8 yards on that 3rd and 12 that moved us into about a 52. Was that right, CK? About 50. Was the first one 52?
It was 52, yeah.
Yes.
No, it was 51. His long was 52, so it was 1 yard shorter than his longest.
So that was a good, nice pickup, and on a 3rd down that was good for Bryce Young there. But then that put us at 4th and 3, and you're already kind of in that crazy deep range. You're only down 3. I felt like this is, 3 yards. We can maybe, like, this is a type of 4th and 3 situation, or 3rd and 3. Those down and distances are good for our offense. They're good for what Bryce Young's skill set were. So I was kind of hoping, and maybe I'm just like so desperate for this Panther offense to find a little momentum. I've just been go for it every time. That's what I felt like saying every time we get anywhere close to a 4th and manageable distance. But, so you get down there. Other than that, the play calling, I don't know, is that we'll see. I think that, look, you give it some time, but nothing was working last night on the offense. And I don't think it was just play calling, but it certainly didn't help when it came to running the ball on 1st down and getting nothing. And then it was, I don't like the term vanilla. It just wasn't working.
It was pretty vanilla.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, man, we have some beautiful fans, man. First, I want to make sure I read them all. Kenneth with the 499 says, you guys don't think it's a tad bit too late to trade BB since we didn't take the 2 first-round picks? That'll really make Scott a failure, in my opinion. And
Maybe.
Kenneth, that's what's caused me to do a 180 on Fitterer. I think this thing has been so thoroughly botched, and this team is still such in sore need of talent that I really don't know who else to blame but Fitterer. So I 100% agree. Anthony with the 199 says Burns for Harrison Jr., Tank, and reroll. Rare Gamer 99 with the $5 says Frank is a mediocre reject from the Colts, And the only reason he is here is because Tepper wants a nostalgic storyline to sell tickets. Prove me wrong. Wow. Coming out, swinging haymakers, bro. And then Josh Dyson with the $9.99 says, love the show, boys. Been watching since Tony started 10 years ago. Thanks for the therapy and keep up the great work. Keep pounding. Shout out Josh, man.
They just keep coming.
yeah.
This is what a generous night. I think there might even be one more in the hole now. Thank you so much, guys. What a generous 2 nights of our fans listening in
Jay
our
Thomas.
as we finish the 10th season up.
Hard to believe that Frank is not smart enough to call more advanced plays if he thought the offense could handle it, or offense could handle it. I could be wrong. Shout out to Jay, man. Go ahead.
Look at Sideshow. Go hit Sideshow's comment up real quick down. It's the last one. Man, I tell you this, Caldera Lab products are working when he said, hey, 10 years ago, Tony was 22. I've gone back 10 years in time because of calderalab.com/C3, 20% off. Use the code. Greg, you had something to say.
Yeah, just real quick. I put a new poll in the chat. If you're in the chat room right now, I don't know how many people we have in there right now. I know it's quite a few.
We have 219.
I put up a poll for the Carolina Panthers after 6 games: 0-6, 1-5, 2-4, 3-3. I couldn't put 5-2 because it just gave me 4 options. But I don't think anybody thinks we're going to go 5-2. So if you get a chance, vote in that poll. When I get to 30 minutes or so, or at least 150 votes, I'll take it down. We'll see what the results are. But check it out.
We also, speaking of happy times and good times, thank you, Carolina Panthers guy. He said, CPG says, I've been rocking with Tony for 10 years as well. Keep pounding. Happy birthday to Frankie Louvu.
Shit.
Yeah.
Was it Frank? Please say, now you made me start this. Yeah. Frankie Louvu, birthday today. Happy birthday to really a real standout star, and talk about a guy, an undrafted free agent that's going to secure a nice payday if he keeps playing like this. I think he's put enough on tape that if the Panthers ain't going to pay him, somebody else is. And who was just raving about him was Brian Baldinger.
Mm-hmm.
Baldy's
breakdowns.
Baldy's breakdown was just raving about Frankie Louvu and his closing speed, his attack speed, and really he plays fast. He plays fast.
How about this? For the past how long has he been on the team now? 3 years. He has been our most consistently good player for 3 years. But in this transition to a 3-4. It has been absolutely seamless for Frankie Louvu. The guy is a heat-seeking missile. Everyone that plays with him loves him. Shout out to Kristen Ledane. That's her boy. I know she loves her some Frankie Louvu. And how could you not, man? The dude is getting pressures. He's getting sacks. That dude is out there whooping ass and taking names. I love this dude. And I'm not mad at anyone who tells you that Frankie Louvu is the best player on our whole fucking football team, bro. I really do think that you can make a legit case that Louvu is our best player, offense or defense.
Oh, Lord.
He is our best player.
Just 2 days ago, you said it was clear that it was Brian Burns, and you were an idiot if you didn't.
But that's why I said
you can't make the argument Brian Burns deserves to get paid top 3 if you say Frankie Louvu is the best player on the team. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Those are Brian Burns
doesn't work.
And Frankie Louvu are hands down the best players on our football team.
Okay,
and
but you're saying Frankie Louvu is so close. If Frankie, like obviously they're very close in your mind. There's no way that Brian Burns can be paid top 3 if Frankie Louvu, his teammate, is so close to how good he is.
Well, I mean, Brian Burns is
like I said in the game of the day. Brian Burns has never been top.
I know.
10.
I think it's. I think it's Derek Brown. I'm with you. I'm with
Louvu is an off the ball linebacker. And he's
I think they're a trifecta of good players. I think right now they're making a difference. A lot of people, though, I thought that last week when they said that Burns disappeared in the second half, I thought that was an oversimplification of how the game was going and the double teams. Some people are, again, coming back and saying that you can scheme him out of the game and that I don't know, is that, look, he got a little nicked up and banged up. Man, I like Brian Burns. I think he's been a great asset to this team. I love Frankie Lou. We've been singing his praises for a moment. And I tell you, one guy who has never turned his back on Derek Brown is this guy right here, man. I'm proud to say that. Go check all the tape, bro.
Yeah.
All the tape. I'm telling you, he's only made our team better. What we got next here is like, I'll take over. Let me see. What we got next? Kind of get through some of this stuff real quick. Here's the bad. I guess we could go look at how some of the performance grades real quick. Let me see. Cody put this one in. This is 2022 open window throw selection and accuracy. Let's see. Can you guys, how do we?
I'm here. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Okay.
So basically, what you're looking at is a chart of completions. Wait, let me take this down right quick. So, okay, this is percentage of accuracy to throws to open windows. Okay, look at Bryce Young, all the way up there on the left.
I feel like being on the right is better though.
No, hold on.
I feel like top right would be better than top left.
Top right means that you're very accurate, and on the top right is also the percentage of throws to open windows. So Kirk Cousins is accurate and to wide receivers that are open.
So he's accurate to open window.
Cody, you're reading this wrong.
No, you're not.
You want to be in the top right, Cody.
Cody, you don't. You want to be in the center. Look at the dotted line. Look at the dotted line.
No, that's the mean. I think this is that if you are in the top right, that means Kirk Cousins throws not only the most accurate, but into the tightest windows. That's how this chart means.
No. Open windows is off to the right. The more open you are, that would be to the right of the chart. On the left side means they're not open. Bryce Young has thrown the most accurate passes to wide receivers that are not open. This is the point that I'm telling everyone.
I think you're right.
I was at the game. They are not open a majority of the time.
We're not arguing Hollywood. We're trying to figure it out, man.
On Bryce, it's ridiculous, man.
We're not putting anything on Bryce. He didn't play well last night, dude.
There is a contingent of the fan base that wants to put it all on Bryce or bench him for a year or all this other dumb shit that has no basis in reality. And that's what the chart shows to everyone. All I'm saying.
The only thing I would say with this is saying the throws that he's making are going to people who don't have the percentage of his throws are going to people who don't, or a larger percentage of his throws are going to people who don't have open windows, right? But when he does have an open window, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks, most accurate quarterback, to be fair, based on this chart, to throw to an open receiver. Because
he definitely doesn't have the most a great passing percentage. You can't, he's had a 50%, 52%. So like all right. So you want to use this to say, look, he's accurate when his receivers get open.
Yes. And that he is the type of player that can get the ball to his playmakers. But if the playmakers are not doing their job, he's not Cam Newton. He's not going to be the type of player that's going to run for 150 yards and put the team on his back. He is going to be dependent on the O-line in front of him and the wide receivers that are around him. And this is another reason I'm down on Fitterer. Because if you knew that part of this offense involved a deep threat that can get open down the field, and the only thing that you went to the year with was DJ Chark and Terrace Marshall Jr., like that's all that can muster up
this season. One fucking thing, and this would have been fixed. Damiere Byrd. Damiere Byrd would have fucking made this work.
You know what, Cody? You just said this just now, and I want to make sure that I'm right on this. You just said he's not Cam Newton. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm not comfortable trading 2 first-round picks in DJ Moore for a player that's not at least Cam Newton.
Oh, it don't
So
matter.
there you
We
go.
already did.
I would
Right
say
there you go.
this
You
as
just,
well,
you just
you
proved
know,
it for me.
matter.
He's not Cam
But-
Newton. Seriously, Cam Newton won one MVP, went to one Super Bowl. I'm not willing to trade away
Yeah,
the
but
franchise.
Cam Newton's game is different, dude. You can't when he says he's not Cam
That's what
Newton.
I'm
I don't
saying.
think he's not saying he can't be the caliber
Yeah, I'm
player
not-
that a
right.
Cam Newton was, that he couldn't
Different
be an
style.
MVP, but he isn't 6'5", 250 who can manage to look. Is
You
Cam?
mean that drafting a smaller quarterback is a
No,
disadvantage?
No, that's not what he's
It's-
saying
yeah,
at
he's
all.
just not going to beat you with his leg.
Wait a
Like
second.
It
Cam
has
Newton
nothing
was
to
a
do with
running
it.
back as well.
Greg,
Cam
Greg.
Newton was electric in like you could just say this is you could just design the game for him to be the massive running threat. You know, and you can't do that with a Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that with the Tom Brady. You can't do that with, so you have to, that doesn't mean Tom Brady. You could say this is Tom Brady is no Cam Newton.
No, I would say Tom
100%.
Brady far
Greg is-
exceeds Cam Newton.
No,
Greg is
their
like-
games are
You're-
different
You're
style.
not understanding the comparison. We're
I get it.
saying that even if
you're
you
saying in
but
style
by
of
the way,
play,
I'm saying
not
Hall of
talent.
Famer. I'm saying Hall of Famer Drew Brees would not have been able to do what Cam Newton did without the wide receivers and without
Really?
the help
You don't
on the
think
O
so?
line.
Well, Drew Brees took
You
a
don't
few
think Drew
years
Brees
too,
would have been
guys.
able to make those wide receivers better? And been
Well,
able
he
to make
did,
them
but
competitive?
he didn't do that until year 3 or 4 after he had a pretty good year in San Diego. But then they chose to go with Phillip Rivers, where actually they had really tried to go with Eli Manning. He said, hell nah. But then they went with Phillip Rivers. Then they shipped, so it's like, hey, Steve Young didn't start out a Hall of Famer. Tom Brady didn't start out a Hall of Famer.
No, he did, actually. Tom Brady is the one exception. He did start out a Hall of Famer.
Well, no,
He
he
came in the
started
first-
as a game
Yeah,
manager
he
on a
did. He came in the Hall
fantastic
of Fame.
team.
He won a Super Bowl his first year.
But
Well,
to
so
be
did,
fair,
like,
if you look at his
Roethlisberger.
stats, if you look at his stats, he
And
wasn't like
Roethlisberger's a
a
Hall of Famer.
Roethlisberger was the second year.
Oh, was
So,
it
I
a second
mean-
year?
White Chocolate Espresso with the $4.99 says Jalen Hyatt had 1.27 separation time, but had 2 touchdown catches for 89 yards. With 2 catches, he burned the defense. There is more to this chart.
All right, well-
That's still
Well,
beside
we're
the
going to
point.
get to the grades. We're going to get to some grades, PFF grades, but we had a great super chat earlier that asked us what the heck happened at the end of the game. And I didn't see this till late today, right?
Yeah,
So
I didn't know what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
Oh, this is awesome.
you haven't
So I
seen it?
saw
I'll
it says
pull it up.
Panthers defensive lineman Derek Brown. I got it pulled up, Cody.
Oh, you already have it?
Yeah, I put it in here because we can't embed the videos in the presentation the way that this works with StreamYard. But this is what happened is here. We'll go ahead and let me go and roll it and let you guys see what happened here. Can y'all hear it?
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. Boy, Michael Thomas, a dummy.
Michael Thomas is like one of those people. Like, if he actually got into a scuffle with Derek Brown, he would be dead.
Oh, totally.
By the way,
totally.
did he? But apparently he shouted out West Side Crip or something. So he's like talking on some gang shit as a millionaire.
He said
Like,
that?
dude, yeah. He was
Oh,
like-
yeah. I think he
he
got in
said so-
trouble
he
early
said-
on in his career with having a gun and some different things in New Orleans.
Yeah, he said West Side Crip gang. And it's like, bro, you're a real cornball. The only thing that you could do is run slants. He was backing up the
And
entire
cry.
time.
All he does is cry for everything to be a pass interference.
Bro, he's a diva. And you notice how his ass was backing up the whole time.
You damn right.
Derek Brown was coming
They
after
would
him.
murder
Derek
him.
Brown
They would pull
would
him
have
apart
sun- Derek Brown
and
would
eat
have
him like a
sunned
chicken
his
wing.
ass. Derek Brown would have sunned his ass. Cornball shit, bro.
Yeah, so that's
why
what
nobody
happened.
talks about him as a top wide receiver, bro. He's Bro, he's a clown, man.
Today, so just to keep up with the news, we got to get rocking and rolling, bro. This show is, look, it just gets deeper and deeper every day, man. We're 223 people into week, man. You guys are fantastic. We're an hour and 15 minutes in, and we're just hitting what happened today. Panthers, though, have been trying to work out a quarter, where they worked out a quarter. Breon Borders, who just served a 2-game suspension, and former Carolina safety Sean Chandler can now play again after his 2-game suspension. Don't worry, Sean Chandler, we don't need you. The safety room is just fine. The question is what are you going to do with the corners? Breon Borders really hasn't done any, he's a former Duke player. Breon Borders, and why did he get suspended? I meant to look it up. Suspended. But what this really is more than likely 2 games for the first 2 games of the 2020. He was with the Falcons, Breon Borders. Quarterback is suspended first 2 games. Why? It does not say. Suspended for using performance-enhancing substances. But he was a turnover guy with Duke, but that was also like 5 or 6 years ago. So he's had a slow burn trying to find a way into Carolina. I did look over at some Pro Football Focus grades. I know you guys can take them for what they are and what they will. But there's something, I guess, that we could at least talk about. I looked at, they had this article that was all the number 1 first round picks, and looking at those grades, Bryce Young, his overall rookie grade so far has been a 40.8 by Pro Football Focus. 59 snaps in week 2. His week 2 grade was 57.2. Young made 1 big-time throw and 3 turnover-worthy plays on Monday Night Football, they wrote. It was better performance for him, but still not one conducive to winning games. His 7.1% turnover-worthy play rate on the season ranks 3rd worst among quarterbacks. And I did just bring this up. I want to show you guys this. Here are the other 2 guys and their grades. CJ Stroud with a 60.7. He's played 84 snaps. He had a good week 2, 65.7, but also played an Indianapolis Colts team, right? Stroud dropped back more than 50 times for the 2nd straight week. Mixed results. He's looked solid from a clean pocket, but folded under pressure again, they wrote. Stroud is currently ranked 12th in the NFL with a 79.3 clean pocket passing grade. His 31 passing grade is under pressure. So, man, imagine him in Carolina last night. Stroud will have to improve under duress. And his overall, so he's got a higher rookie grade so far than Bryce Young. Anthony Richardson, he only played 18 snaps in his 2nd week. He did have 2 touchdowns, but both running. Both running.
I said this to Greg before.
Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray for doing that.
Well, we did. So people complain about Cam being dead.
But hold up, Greg. Like I told you,
that's what we knew he was good at.
Those guys also finished out a game through his career,
and they both started 2 games.
Started them and didn't finish them.
And that's actually bad for you because he hasn't finished them, and he still played better than Bryce Young.
If you're going to say
in
that
both
Bryce's
games.
size is a problem, yet the big dude is more hurt and more injured than the little dude.
You're trying to bring in something else to the argument. The bottom line is he's played 2 games. Even though he hasn't finished them, he still played better than Bryce Young did.
Greg,
playing 2 full games.
Your number 1 argument when we first were talking about Bryce Young versus everybody else was injury. That was never was it anything else.
And Anthony Richardson could be injury prone. I'm not denying that. Like I'm not saying I never said he wasn't.
Or he could just be running around sacrificing his body like a former quarterback would have.
But let's be real. Let's look at the injuries. One was a quad injury,
a bone bruise on his knee.
Yeah, they hit his knee and he took him out for the game at the end of the game. The second one was a concussion that anybody that falls to the ground could have had, no matter your size. Size didn't matter in the second one.
Yeah, but it didn't happen to just standard one.
It happens to a lot of people all the time. It happened to to it last week.
You're also moving the goalposts on that. We're talking about Anthony Richardson, who is going to be taking way more hits than anybody else, because what does he do more than any of these rookie quarterbacks? Run the ball.
Fair point.
That's when he got hurt game one. He laid on the ground for a while because it was his knee. Because he was running the ball on a designed pass play because he wasn't trusting his ability to get the ball to his receivers.
Yeah. Hey, AR could be injury prone. Like I said, I never argued that he wasn't. I just feel like when you have a guy who's 6'5", 250, and you have a guy who's 5'10", 200, when they take hits, there's a better chance of the smaller guy getting injured than the larger guy.
Well,
that's all.
This hasn't been the case.
Freak injuries can happen. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He fell down. Because
you can't do it like, whenever the big players get hurt, it's a freak injury. But whenever a small player gets hurt, it's because they're small.
So let me ask you, Cody.
I just don't think we should say Anthony Richardson has played great just because he's run the ball. Everybody knew he was a runner.
What's his QBR? He's played great. He's played better than Bryce in both games.
Is Justin Fields
as a runner?
Quarterback? Because
passing and running, he's played better than Bryce.
He's put up some better. All right. So here's the thing: is that it probably is now negligible after not being able to play a full game in week 2.
Right.
But here is to continue on and not to get too lost in the weeds in that discussion. The Carolina Panthers are also, have some concerns about how to deploy Bryce Young, and we saw that as they decided to go, or at least looked like they were going to opt for a 4th and 1 QB sneak, which I think we ended up false starting on in that case. So then you didn't go for it. This is David Newton, bro. Took a little heat today from some people for this. He wrote, biggest hole in the game plan, what to do on 3rd and short. The Panthers can't use, maybe it was 3rd and 1, not 4th and 1 that I was thinking. The Panthers can't use their quarterback sneak because Young just isn't big enough to make it work. Plus, he doesn't have experience at it. So Carolina had to bring up quarterback Andy Dalton on those plays. The first time there was a false start. The second time, Dalton pitched to running back Miles Sanders for the first down. But this could be an issue moving forward. Good old David Newton just knows how to write it just a way to get people riled up, because he said he isn't big enough to make it work. Can't use him in those terms. What do you guys think about David Newton's take? And I got a problem with Darren Gant's take about David Newton next.
I kind of agree with what he's saying. Like I said, I brought this up yesterday. Like, what kind of faith do you have in your quarterback when it's that situation you pull him?
I think this is a great time to use your backup quarterback.
No, it's a great time to use your backup quarterback. You have Taysom Hill.
I hate it for different
not with Andy
reasons,
Dalton.
Different reasons than Greg, but yeah, I hate this. And give me a break. I don't fucking need Dalton on the field for shit. I just don't. Why? For what? What is he going to do? Yeah. What is he doing for this team that you're not going to ask Bryce to do? And by the way, if there's something that Andy Dalton can do that Bryce just isn't able to do yet, then like that leads to Greg's point. Like maybe we made the mistake, but like there's no reason that you should be putting him in any situation. It's the dumbest shit in the world to me. If he's hurt, fine, but if he's not hurt, bring Andy Dalton's ass off of my field. That's
going to get the experience if you don't give it to him now.
100%.
You know,
100%. And by the way, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that I said. There were some people in the chat room last night saying, "Oh, bench him for a year. He's not ready."
Oh, I know.
How the hell do you learn how to play football from the bench? It's the
unless for some reason you were just really concerned about ruining him.
There's
something was so bad. If your offensive line
ruin him, then he was never the dude.
Look, I was against this argument, but there was an argument a few weeks ago about sitting a quarterback for a year and how great it was. So
I don't think if you have that number, I think that if they're a second round pick, then maybe that's something you do. I think if you're the most pro ready quarterback and all of these other things, no, I think it's just time to learn on the job. And I think he's been fine learning on the job. I think that's going to be the best. Here's what I got a problem with Darren Gant on this one. Why has he got to come after my man David Newton for this? David Newton on September 17th wrote this. He wrote the Falcons. This is his tweet, by the way. The Falcons 2-0, the Bucks 2-0, Panthers 0-1. Can't afford to lose to Saints 1-0 Monday Night Football and be 2 back of the entire NFC South. That was David Newton's tweet. I find that nothing wrong with that.
No,
Right.
I agree.
I find this is what Darren Gant has.
Fans are acting like that's the case anyway.
This is what Darren Gant, who is works for a longtime media member, right? A well-respected reporter, and also, though, kind of snarky. He is a snarky one, and he also works for the team now. He said not to pick on David, but this is both nonsense and contagious when people with platforms say it. They still play 17, right? They started 1-5 in 2022 and played Tom Brady for the division in January, right? Immediacy of communication has turned people into short-sighted ninnies. Now, I've got a big problem with this. First, I don't think that tweet is disinformation. I don't think it's overly exaggerative. I don't think it is shocking all clickbait. What Darren Gant ultimately said was this: not to pick on David, but I'm going to pick on David. No offense, but be prepared to be offended. Then he said he's misusing his platform ultimately for disinformation. And I wanted to show you the next post. Hold on, if we could look here. Then he follows it right up. Each one of these games is important in that it's 1/17 of a long season. Hysteria over any one of them helps no one except people who measure their worth by social media engagement, I guess.
Oh, he sounds like such an old
G baby
dude.
or is this David?
Yeah. Darren Gant is saying this.
Baby.
Ultimately, he is of the equivalent, and no one really got this when I said it. He basically accused David Newton of taking ivermectin or whatever, and ivermectin and disinformation. And this is total bullshit, Darren. This isn't wildly irresponsible. This isn't disinformation that could potentially lead to people being of harm or something like this.
Nothing about what he said is untrue.
Right? He said this. And look, and you know what? What about this? What if we start 0-6? Do we go, well, there's 11 more games?
Yeah. And Tony, by the way, this is the reason why everyone says that Charlotte media ain't shit.
Just week
you know what
2.
I'm saying? Up in New York, I guarantee you all the media members in New York and Los Angeles and all of these bigger media markets, they have reporters that are keeping the pulse of their fan base, asking them the questions that their fan base won't ask, and they're holding their feet to the fire and saying how bad some of this stuff looks. Charlotte media does not have that sense of urgency to them. That's why I love what Sheena and Vashti do when they do ask those questions about the play callers and things of that nature. I feel like David Newton did nothing wrong. And by the way, in today's world, you want the likes. You want the clicks.
But that is like, first of all, like out of all the things David Newton has done that, has misspoken or something like this. This is what you fucking for like the most modest tweet he's put out in 2 years. And then to bring up this, that you started 1-5 in 2022 and then finished 5-11.
Yeah, man.
Like, shut the fuck up. That's
Here's
terrible.
The funny thing about that is when you bring up that argument, you don't realize you're defeating yourself because he says the first few games didn't matter because we still played for the division in the January. Well, guess what? If we'd have won that first game against Cleveland and that game against Atlanta, the division in January wouldn't have mattered. We'd have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So those first games did matter.
Yeah.
And you know what? Last night isn't just 1/17. It was 1/17 2 weeks ago. Last night was 1/16. And next week is going to be 1/15. Yes. And next week's going to be 1/14. And each game is going to get more and more valuable, particularly as you're not winning.
No, actually, you're wrong. They're all 1/17 of the season.
But guess what? There's not 17 more games now.
Correct. That's the issue. Yeah.
And when you're 0-2, you don't have those 2 games. You got 2 L's. So you only have 15 games to play with. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not, is like, that is, so I thought this is, I think, I don't know why the low blow. I thought this was a low blow from Darren Gant to a fellow media member and to a guy who's been in the media too in Charlotte for a long time. I thought it was kind of like picking on guy unnecessarily. So I was going to save it for my ice up pick, but I wanted to talk about it, guys. I think we should get to some cat calls, but before we get to some cat calls, I want to remind you that our show is sponsored by Manscaped. Guys, take care. You don't want your thangling to be a little bird perched up on a big afro puff of a nest. You want it to look big and beautiful in case you're going to use it. And if you're going to use it, you got to use Manscaped because you won't nick your balls. You can use it in the shower. It's waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the way to go. But now they've got a new beard hedger, fellas. Football time means you have to stay alive and clean and keep it alive and fresh down low with Manscaped ball deodorant, Manscaped crop refresher. Get the cool clothing. Man, I wear the Manscaped shirt out everywhere. Whenever I do, people laugh. They have compliments. They come up and basically high five me. And really what it is I don't take it as an invitation, but I know they're thinking about my balls and how beautiful they are. Right? You guys want to keep it clean, keep it fresh, and a way to do that is with Manscaped products. You use the promo code Panthers, you're going to get 20% off free shipping, plus free shipping. Don't have a little baby bird perched on a nest. Have a big eagle that soars. Manscaped.com, promo code Panthers, 20% off, plus free shipping. Help us out. Look, last year we hit the mark. They're watching these numbers. We need your help, Cody, just like we need their help with the content of this show, because they can call in at 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Let's jump into these cat calls.
Let's do it. You heard the man.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in the snow? Who's that kid that can use one?
Come on, play. Dang it, every time, man.
Doing what you do. I enjoyed the spaces that D's and Pickle doing.
Rewind.
Also, I want to say, man, I got my Shut the Hell Up shirt with Pickle, man. I love it. It fits perfectly. Make sure you order one. But I want to call up here.
What's
going on, C3? This your boy, man, Jay Prey, man.
Jay Prey.
What up, Jay?
My story in the chat. And I just want to shout y'all out real quick for doing what you do. I enjoyed the spaces that D's and Pickle doing. Also, I want to say, man, I got my Shut the Hell Up shirt with Pickle, man. I love it. It fits perfectly. Make sure you order one. But I want to call up here specifically, man, for these whining ass fans, man. These whining bitching ass fans, man. We got to fucking toughen up, man. We acting like we don't have Sam Mills statue at the stadium, man. We got to toughen the fuck up, man. We keep pounding. We supposed to be representing that shit, man. So quit all that fucking whining. It's okay to have concerns, and we know shit ain't going how it's supposed to go. It ain't going right now. But we still got to keep pounding, man. We can't talk that keep pounding shit and don't live it and whine when shit don't go our way, man. Keep fucking pounding, man. You got to believe in these coaches, what they doing. We know shit ain't going right, but we got a coaching staff that's supposed to know what they're doing. So hopefully they'll get this shit right by the next couple of games or so. But you can't just quit and give up after 2 fucking games, man. Come on, man. Toughen the fuck up, man. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Shout out to Jay in the chat. My life, my story. Shout out to Jay, man. Hey, I love it when we have fans. Look, there's always a lot of pessimistic Panther fans, but I'm not going to lie. I do love it when we do get the fans that call in and say, bro, everybody take a breath It's going to be all right. It's been 2 games. Like, you have to have a real
Should
level
we play
of
him Noah's
maturity.
call from last night?
What'd you say?
Should we play him
Right.
Noah's call from last? Poor
maybe.
Noah, man. He had to miss school today.
Oh, no. Poor
He was
Noah.
shook. He was shook,
Poor
and usually
Noah.
he's not.
But, yeah, shout out to Jay, man.
All right, next call.
What up, guys? It's your boy, Josh from Mass.
What up, Josh?
Tuesday morning, driving to work. Thoughts on last night's game? I think our biggest issue right now is our offensive line. Really, the defense did everything they needed to do, and you could just tell by the mid-third quarter they've been on the field way too much. I think Bryce is coming along nicely. You see what he's trying to do and what he's trying to be, and I think he'll eventually get there. But he's going to need time. We need this line to fucking get it together, man. Whether it's the new rookie staying at left guard, or just waiting for Corbett to get back so we can really get things situated. Once that line really gels in, I think they'll be fine. I think it'll really help with what's going on in the offense. I think it's why we're seeing the play calling that we're seeing. Is a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of close looks, just trying to keep things, readily available in a short period of time. It doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. You can't ask him to throw far downfield, in the event of no time. Those plays take time to develop downfield, and it's not going to happen with mediocre at best protection. The run game also struggled mightily. The run game is where I do take an issue with play calling, because it was just all in the interior gaps. Like, it's not working. Eventually, you got to do something else. I'm not saying go away from the run, but see if you can get maybe they don't have the talent on the offensive line right now, or don't feel confident to run things like pulls and whatnot. It's disappointing to start 0-2, but both games against pretty good teams, I'd say. I think our division's going to be better this year than we were willing to give it credit for, and we were right in the thick of both of them. Last night it was just a couple of offensive miscues. They got the ball in the right end of the field, the short fields a couple times, and just little things. I'm not giving up on this team, and I don't think you should either. It's week 2. We got a long way to go. Keep pounding, Panther fans. Keep pounding.
Yeah.
Josh from Mass.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for
Over
the
and
call.
out.
Later,
Thank you,
Josh.
Good to hear from you, man. Love hearing from Josh from Mass. Love that dude.
Yeah, man.
Look, he makes some good points. I like the idea of this. There's no giving up. No one's giving up. I think we can be critical of a team and also support them, cheer for them, and believe that they can be better.
Sure.
Right. So I can be critical of Bryce Young's play, or at least just note it hasn't been great to this point, and still believe he's going to get better from week. That's really what we've been talking about this season being, is we've put the expectation so much on this team, where really, if we kind of say, hey, we want to get better from week to week to week, if we would have started that as our expectation for this season, instead of winning the division out the gate, making the playoffs, which I don't think is wrong to say that it's possible or potential. But if we say, hey, next week we want Bryce Young to get better, next week we want to do these things, then I think it's an easier measurement of success from week to week. I do believe that I don't think he's displayed red flags to where I don't think he can be a successful quarterback in this league. I'd like to see them put him under center more. I don't think it's him. I don't think he's unable to do that. I think it actually would be a little problematic for the defense, a little bit harder to read his eyes and where he's looking at sometimes, maybe. Right. But I don't necessarily agree that his struggles have only been, and maybe Josh wasn't saying this, but we've seen a quarterback who has been handicapped by an impossible, untenable line. And while this line has not been perfect by any stretch, they have not been horrible either. There have been opportunities where some people were talking about this today, is that Bryce, one of his issues at Alabama, and some of it looks like here, he's holding on to the ball too long. Well, if you're holding on to the ball too long, that means you also have some measurement of time to actually hold it. The weakness in the offensive line was up the middle. Yeah, if you look at this, Taylor Moton, at least according to Pro Football Focus, is Taylor Moton had positive grades overall when it came to passing and run blocking. Akem Ekwonu, a little bit better, obviously, in run blocking. Both of these guys played better against the run, which is strange given the fact that we couldn't run the ball. So maybe that raises some red flags. I haven't heard Moton's name called, which I know he's been struggling with a bicep injury. But when you don't hear an offensive lineman's name called, then that's a good thing generally. But then I saw a play today where poor Moton poor fella. I mean, it was just such a physical play. My question to you guys is like, when Austin Corbett comes back, do you think that brings stability to the center of the line? And as Bradley Bozeman, is he kind of having some struggles out there, or do you think that some of that's linked to the guys beside him, because we know how important your guards are in the relationship to the center?
That's what I would say. And the fact that we've been moving them around. I mean, you lose Brady Christensen. You don't have Austin Corbett from last year. You have a rookie in Chandler Zavala and Cade Mays, who has simply not played a lot of football. So, yeah, it is hard to, be a rock solid member of your O-line when the dudes next to you are not doing their job. And you mentioned it, Tony. They are such a cohesive unit. If one guy isn't doing his job, it can mess things up for everyone else on that line.
Right.
So, now, to be fair, people were kind of critical of Bradley Bozeman even during during preseason. I wasn't one of them. I wasn't freaking out about it. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do we really feel like our center play has been some sort of...
No, I don't think it's been some sort of way. But if you go back to the PFF grades, his grades weren't high. Right. And so, and look, is that the point that that's fine. That's fine. But we're just using them as a launching point for a conversation.
Yeah.
The pressure really seemed to come up the middle yesterday. I mean, they benched and we go back, if you could put it up real quick, just so I can get the names right. The kind of strange thing we talked about is that they moved Chandler to Zavala to the left side after he had some success at the right.
And they said that they wouldn't. Thomas Brown literally said they wanted to keep him at right guard for that consistency because he was doing well.
Right. And that was a surprise. And look who's at the very bottom of the list. Now, I wonder why that is. I know he had one penalty on a false start. I know he had one guy blow right past him. So, you just wonder how much in their grading does two bad negative plays like plummet him down the ranks. Right. But then you also had Cade Mays, who they benched. Now, we don't know if they benched him because of play or if something was going on, but they put in that Calvin Throckmorton guy, which I had never freaking heard his name before last night. So the issues, though, are with the center of that line, at least from these grades and some of the things we got. You guys, the number's 252-228-5098. Let's go to Corey. Got fingers.
Hey, what's good, fellas? It's Corey calling in. Excuse me if my voice sounds a little bit nasally. It's Tuesday morning, a little bit before 10 o'clock. I'm off work today, so I started my day with absolute probably worst way you could start your day. The morning after the Panthers lose kind of embarrassingly on Monday Night Football. I woke up, rolled over, and got on Twitter. And yeah, so I mean, as you know, it's a shit show over there now. But it kind of got me thinking, like, Panthers fans right now, we can't agree on anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here thinking, like, well, you talking about Bryce Young or freaking shit, I don't even know, C.J. Henderson or J.C. Horn or Kim Aquanu or Frank Reich or David Tepper, Scott Fitter. Like, is there anybody on this team that we can like collectively, I don't know, just as a vast majority of Panthers fans have something good to say about, like Lubu, right? Nobody can talk shit about Lubu. I think everybody loves Lubu. I don't know, like Johnny Hecker, is that it? I don't know. You just have me thinking. But anyway, talking about the game, I mean, I don't know, man. Same old shit. I'm gonna start by saying this: Bryce has to be better. I think he will get better. Like we really, really do overstate. No, we understate sometimes just really how hard this shit is. Like let's be honest, y'all. It literally is his second career game. I don't really know what he's supposed to do out there from the looks that I've been seeing. It's like this shit just looks incredibly hard out there, and he does look flustered. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like that's what he can get better at. Is to start maybe being a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable and hitting the throws that are there when they are there, because they're going to be so few and far between. Like, I caught a little second of the post game show last night, and Tony, you were talking about, you know, those deep shots, and he's missing guys deep. It's almost like, oh shit, there's somebody, boom. And you know what I mean? He misses them, but that's like his one or two chance that he may get within the half. But yeah, like this is our offense. I think the biggest loser tonight is Frank Reich. Like this is the team that we went into the season with. This is the offense that I don't know y'all was telling us about. I'm gonna run out of time, and it always cuts off right after 3 minutes. So I'm gonna have to call back for part 2. I'm gonna call. Give me 1 second.
Do you want to address anything before we go to a second part?
Well, I mean, I love what he says about how hard Bryce's job looks.
Yeah.
Right. It is a hard, and dude, it's so easy. And no, I'm not just talking about you, Greg. I mean, anyone. It's so easy to critique the quarterback position, me included, man. And but the amount that they have to do on a given play, dude, it's one of the hardest positions in all of sports to play.
Yeah, I could do it. Yeah. Quarterback is the hardest position to play. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do. Like, just hands down in sports, those are the two things right there.
And Deion Sanders just confirmed that too. He was asked that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Bryce Young is a bad quarterback. And I just think that he was not the right pick for Carolina based on what we needed. I don't think that he has the ability to raise what we have on this team.
I disagree. I don't think we have enough time and evidence for that. But what I would say is
that's not solid.
Is I don't think that I think Bryce Young's problem right now is just he's not playing with confidence.
Right.
I think you saw some frustration in his face last night. He's going to have to play loose. And one of the things that when we saw in training camp is to get things look slow to him. And right now they don't at this point. And not that he looks overwhelmed. He doesn't look ridiculously overwhelmed.
He does kind of look overwhelmed.
He just doesn't look confident at this moment. And that's where those deep shots are, is like, I see it. I need this to work. And it's just the anxiety of the moment. And we just got to get a little rolling and get some mojo, you know, and it's just kind of shrug it off. Let's go to part 2.
Yeah, man. Part 2, of course, called Frank Reich. I mean, yeah, is not a great look for him at the end of tonight. You know, still. He at the press conference, he seemed unrelenting and wanting to give up any of the play calling duties. And, you know, I played high school football. I didn't play any like real high level football. I'm not one of these guys who pretends to know about NFL offensive schemes and how to get guys open when you're like a little bit devoid of talent and all this different stuff. But it's like when you're watching something bad, you know you're watching something bad. When you watch something that you know is not up to par, you can tell it's not up to par. Right. And that's what we've seen for the last 2 weeks in this offense. And the fact of the matter is, I said it last week, I don't know how it's going to change. I don't know what's going to happen with this weapon group where the big plays are going to come from. I think Bryce is going to start to look a little bit more comfortable. And that's the thing. Even in this past game, he did show things that are that you can take home and be like, all right, like this is exciting. This is it. This is that. But yeah, man, like it literally, like I understand how it is when you're watching your team and it's frustrating and they can't get nothing done and it looks like the same team you've seen for the last couple of years. But I mean, there really is like for someone to like give up on Bryce or just say that he can't be the guy after 2 games. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? Especially, I don't know how you're supposed to fairly evaluate him when this kind of offense. And that's the thing is like this debate and this discussion is going to go on for the entire season unless Bryce does just start coming out and just looks like fucking Houdini out there and you can just tell he's clearly doing shit on his own. But you're not going to be able to fairly evaluate him with these weapons and these offensive calls.
Right.
Like the kind of quarterback he is. I said it last week, like he's not the quarterback that is necessarily going to put these guys on his back. And
I said this earlier.
Like, it's going to look better as the season progresses, but it's not going to be so much better that we're going to be like, oh yeah, like from the expectations that a lot of people had going into the season, it's just not going to be that. It's going to be a long season, y'all. We're going to take our bumps, we're going to take our bruises, but I mean that's when you trade all your way your asses for a number 1 pick. Hopefully, you just expect that he can be the guy years down the line. But anyway, shout out to Shaq Thompson, man. He may be out for the year. I've always liked the guy. I know he's a little bit. He can be a little polarizing player in Panthers nation, but it's like, I mean, when you look at things objectively, he came in, was the guy after Luke abruptly retired, and he's had his best, few years career stretch just playing wise. He's not a superstar. He's not an elite talent, but he's a solid, consistent force at linebacker. Hopefully, he can come in and get some good plays in. But I don't know, man.
Greg, do you have something to say in response to that?
I did, because I wanted to ask Cody there in the call. Great call, but I wanted to ask him.
Appreciate you, Corey.
Yeah, definitely. I think the caller said that Bryce is not the kind of guy who's going to lift these players up. And Cody, you cheered, yes? Like that's what you've been saying?
No.
But haven't y'all been saying that Bryce is the guy that can do this?
Yes.
You're not. No, yeah, you misunderstood me the first time. You misunderstood.
Do you want me to pull tape? I'll pull tape.
Well, no, you're not. You're still not hearing what I'm. You're still not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is okay. When you have a Justin Fields, right? Like that guy can run past any player on the field, right? But ask the Chicago Bears fans what kind of passer he is, right? So Justin
from
Fields,
the chart you showed me, from the chart you showed me, he's the 4th best passer in the NFL.
Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson.
4th best passer in the NFL.
Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson have the ability
Justin Fields
to
is
use
not
their
the 4th
legs.
best passer in the NFL.
Yeah,
with the chart he showed us earlier, with the chart Cody showed us earlier, to try to say Bryce had the worst position.
What I'm saying is if you are a dynamic runner, you are going to have options to move the football that you're not going to have if you're just dependent upon your wide receivers.
He's not a dynamic player. Why is this helping your argument?
No, that is not what we're arguing, Greg. We're saying
is this helping your argument?
If you're a pocket passer, then you're going to be dependent upon the receivers around you. By the way, that was always true for Tom Brady. That was always true for Peyton Manning. That was always true for Drew Brees.
Way over here on the right, 4th from the bottom.
That's a horrible spot to be in.
That's the worst spot to be.
That means you have the most. That means you throw more passes to open wide receivers and miss more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's bad. Because Greg, go look at his tape. It's terrible. Okay. And this is a guy that I wanted to
draft. By the way, Greg,
draft him.
Hold on, no,
he's
Greg.
Terrible.
You notice Anthony Richardson not far behind him either.
And guess what? They both have better stats.
It doesn't matter. They have better weapons.
Greg, I do think, Greg, just take a win. You were right with this by saying this, is don't let him off the hook for saying he's a guy that could elevate players.
Right.
In fact,
you
that's
said
why
that. You made that argument. You said he was that guy.
Look, I think that people are just, man, we were so sometimes
Cody, they have to be able to do their job to an extent.
We were so pitched, and CK opened the post game show last night with such a good way of describing this, is that we were pitched that like this is out of all the scenarios, he was going to one that was going to be that struggled the least.
Right.
We were pitched the idea is like that this wouldn't have been that these would have been the kind of things that he could have muscled through a little bit better. Not saying he needs to be out there throwing 250. Matt, remember, you were sitting here saying just of a month ago that this guy is going to throw 4,500 yards or some crap like that, 4,000 yards. And I said, no, 250 yards a game is like, or 230 is ridiculously hard to do. I think I'm not disappointed in Bryce. I'm disappointed. I guess I just thought it would be better. That's it. That's it. Like, it's like, I don't want to give up on him.
I agree.
I don't think putting Dandy Dalton and sitting him is the right thing. I don't think that shitting on Frank Reich all of a sudden is going to make things better. I think that we're, like you said, Panthers traumatic stress syndrome. I just thought this is that we all said that he was, or not we, I think I don't know about, I can't speak for I'm only speaking for myself. I heard a lot of real football analysts say he is, outside of his size, he's like a generation. Like, if he was 6'4", we would call him a generational talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and his size hasn't been the issue. Right. And it really, he hasn't been awful. I just thought week 1 was better than week 2.
Well, and here's
I don't
thing,
even
Cody.
think it. I know it. Week 1 was better than week 2, even with 2 interceptions.
Yeah. And here's my thing, Cody. I'll be real quick with this. Is like, at the beginning of the season, you and a lot of people were saying the offensive line was great, the wide receivers are great, this defense is going to be nasty. And okay, I get it. We're wrong about things. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Okay. Now we're making the argument they aren't. Okay. So if you can look at those players and say they're going to be great and realize now they aren't, why can't that be true of Bryce Young?
What am I supposed to be realizing about Bryce?
That he's not the player we propped him up to be. He
How
maybe
do you know
isn't
that?
the answer.
We've seen 2
How
NFL
do you know
games.
that with the wide receivers? You're making the same argument with the wide receivers and everybody
that
else.
He's not the answer. You don't have enough evidence to say that he's not the answer.
Yeah,
But the evidence
not
you
at
have,
all.
like
Yeah.
the Colts
you're right.
fans
You're right.
don't
You
have enough
the evidence to show
evidence,
that.
or the Texans fans.
You're right.
So
but
let's
that's
not
the
even
same
get in
thing
that
for
mud,
everybody else,
Greg.
for the wide
Let's not
receivers
get
and the
in the mud.
defense. That's the same thing. And when you say that you don't have enough evidence to say he's bad, you don't have enough evidence to say he's good either. And the only evidence
actually, I think we could say he's good. He was drafted number 1.
I mean, the
He
chart
definitely
says
can
otherwise.
play football. He can definitely play football. We're not saying that. He just hasn't had tremendous success in his first 2 games.
You just don't
that
have
doesn't
any
mean
evidence
he's
to say
bad.
great.
It doesn't mean
right. I just think Greg is not mindful of all the things that is working against our quarterback right now.
he's dug that trench a little deep.
Yeah,
Look,
I mean,
he's puffing that dang vape. 'Cause every time he hits that vape, he goes deeper into the trench.
I know, but let me say one more thing, Greg. You mentioned the
Not
offensive
wrong,
line.
anything I'm saying.
You mentioned the offensive line, while completely not mentioning that we're missing 2 of the guys
It wasn't
that were the
that
most
bad.
important part of the offensive line
The
last year.
offensive line was not that bad.
It wasn't that bad,
You
but
know
I'm telling you
what?
what,
It's
there were some
actually
times
where
when
they
got
sucked
their
more
asses
than
whipped,
anything
too.
last night was run blocking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where
there
they
is no
really
run-
stunk last
There is
night.
no run blocking.
And a lot of people, and to give fairness to some of these things about the Frank Reich criticisms, we had a caller call in last night, and he said, I could have told you each play if it was a run or a pass.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's like there was no mystique about whether it was what type of play it was. It was just like, what run is it going to be? What pass is it going to be at this point? And it was predictable. And I don't think if that's what you mean by vanilla, then that's what it was. It was predictable. And you know what? That's not doing any service to a team they didn't run block well. The run game wasn't working. He admitted it, right? I mean, everybody saw that. So yes, you guys are all right. In the fact is that we could also be right that Bryce Young didn't have a great game, or didn't even have a good game, in my opinion. But we could also say, yeah, neither did the run block, neither did the running backs, neither did the wide receivers. But the defense did. And Kev in the chat said this, is 2 of these games were winnable. Both of these games were winnable. And to be honest, that at the end of the day is going to come back to the coaching. because they're the ones that are really going to move the needle a little bit, right? Is you don't know how much the players make the plays on the field, right? But there's something, obviously the decision to put Zavala on the left side wasn't the wisest decision, right? Obviously, there have been poor play calls. Right? Is that if there is anything, is that we just have to, if we're going to be critical of the wide receivers, we're going to be critical of the offensive line. If we're going to be critical of Bryce Young, we have to also be critical of Frank Reich and his staff outside of the defense, because the defense has kept us in games nonstop, and we got to be able to put up. I thought the days were over of us fighting to put up more than 15 points.
Oh, no, not at all. Not
right,
over at all.
Let's go to Jay Anderson.
Hold on. We had Frank Reich. If things don't change, and I told you this a week or two ago, this drum for Thomas Brown to be the play caller,
it's not going to slow down.
It's not slowing down anytime soon, dude. Anytime at all. Look, Kevin has been badgering me to read these super chats. It says, sounds like this team needs Cam for a Taysom role. Cam is not coming to do a Taysom role, bro. We don't need to get over this. Jay Thomas says Bryce probably broke up a little during this first season. CMC had to do the same thing. Thank you. And then Kev says, show the chart I sent. So he keeps on presenting this.
If this is
chart.
a picture of Tadisha, I'm going to be so mad.
No, it's not. It's equally stupid. I don't know. So this is the chart that apparently shows how terrible Bryce is. And
he hasn't even thrown a pass over the middle of the field more than 20 yards. Oh,
I think this is being I think being 4 for 5 over the middle.
There's been a player that's ran over the middle of the field for 20 yards since he's played.
No,
don't say it's not his fault. There's been a player.
That's a long developing play to go up the seam.
It is.
I think the fact that he's been 4 for 5 over the middle in short passing yards is actually something to be commendable of, because it's probably hardest to see those players at his height. Seeing them down the field would be easier over the middle than it would be close up. So, look, he's taken 2 deep shites. Where was this just from that game? Was that just from yesterday? Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Teddy's? Where's Teddy's chart?
I see what Kev was saying, though. This is the Teddy Bridgewater chart. I see what Kev was saying. If Teddy Bridgewater put these exact same numbers up,
he's saying
you guys would say he was garbage.
Yeah, but he was also a 9-year vet, dude.
I don't care.
A 9-year veteran with better receivers.
I care.
But with better receivers to be able to get the ball downfield. 5 years ago when he was with
Carolina, 4 years ago with Carolina, he was
still a 9-year vet, dude. He came in like 2013,
close to the line. Every D knows that we're playing.
Change that out with any other quarterback. Any other quarterback in the NFL, rookie
any other
or whatever.
Rookie quarterback?
No, it's a second game. You would not say they were good.
If you traded this out with Patrick Mahomes,
CJ
I would
did this,
be
y'all
surprised.
be hounding me right now.
All right, let's go to the next call. I don't like that. I don't like that, Greg, because that's a simplification unnecessarily. Because then you just take. How about you say any rookie quarterback?
Okay, any rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and we would say, hey, look at that rookie struggle.
I'm sure the others don't look that
garbage.
much better either.
All right, let's go to the next
way better. They have like 5 times.
We got to get through these calls. Come on, we're at 4. We're not even at 5 o'clock yet.
Anderson. Thinking about what's wrong with the offense, is it Bryce? Is it the scheme? Is it the play calling? Is it the personnel? I think it's a combination of all of it. It's a mess. I felt like last week it was just, we just missing that dog. It was missing something. I think it's just a bad combination of all the above. And we don't have a first-round pick next year. Brian Burns was a non-factor except for the 5-yard penalty he got last night. It's just bad. I think we're just a bad team. A not great roster. We got maybe a handful of good players, no elite players. You got to have a couple elite players to be something. And unfortunately, the way I see it, I think in 2025,
after the 2024 season. I think Fitterer's gone. I think this coaching staff's gone. I think it gets blown up and start over again in 2025. I really do.
God.
Maybe
you're right, though.
How long
when
till
you get a
David
chance, I
Tepper
want y'all to
says you
look
gotta
up the
make
amount
Thomas
of free
Brown
agents
make the play
that's
calls?
coming on the books after this season. How many Panther players will be free agents after this season? And then when you look at the cap space we got compared to how many players we have to re-sign or replace after this season, it's you take that along with the lack of draft picks for the 2024 next season, it's going to be just as bad, if not worse. Oh my, we are in trouble.
All right, let's keep going.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's JJ from Louisville.
What up, JJ?
I just got off work, and y'all got me fucked up because I was listening to the last podcast, and I'm gonna jump right into this. Okay, when I started by saying the bisexuals from before the draft process, it was because a lot of the time they were shitting all over C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson. The whole reason I was even bringing that up was to congratulate Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud for their start to the NFL. Because a lot of, and you can, if Cody's there, Cody, you can even attest to this. You and me were defending C.J. Stroud because that's all we did when these Bryce fans were just shitting on C.J. for his 18%, shitting on Anthony Richardson for being a project and this and that. So that was the whole point of me even bringing that up. But y'all gave me flack for that shit, and Greg was starting to get his panties in a wad. And he did the same shit when, in the offseason, when I said Bryce was going to have some hiccups that weren't his hiccups. And he immediately went to comparing him to the worst quarterback to ever play in the NFL.
Nope.
And so that's why I started calling him the GOAT. Because I'm like, if Greg can sit here and just compare him to Jamarcus Russell and the worst quarterback ever, why can't I just call him the GOAT before he's ever played?
This is what G-Baby does, man. This
yeah.
That's what people do that lose arguments.
I really hopped on the Bryce Young
lose arguments.
That's besides the point. I want to also make an apology to two people. All right, check me out. Steve Wilkes, I'm sorry. I doubted you last year. You were really giving the Panthers and the fans a real blast from the past into nostalgia land from when Cam Newton was still here and we were somewhat playing like that. We were winning games, and now it's a whole shit show. We took what you were building up last year in the second half of what you yourself, Steve Wilkes, were building up. We took it, we crumbled it up, and we spat on it. And we brought in a bum. We brought in another person's trash. And his name is Frank fucking Reich, bro. We did it again when we did it with Sam, when we did it with Baker, when we did it with Teddy Bridgewater. Now we're doing it with our fucking head coach. It sucks. And I also wanted to apologize to Cam Newton for all the carrying that he did for this franchise. But we going to keep pounding all 20 C3, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoy the podcast. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Hey,
Yeah.
how about this? I looked very foolish a few years ago defending Matt Rule, saying it was too early. So I'm not going the opposite direction either, but I'm not defending anyone until they do shit. The days of me defending lackluster play are done. It's time to shit or get off the pot because we are done with this losing shit, dude. As a fan base, how long do you expect us to go through this year after year after year? And by the way, I think it was dumb now in retrospect, Frank Reich choosing to not open up the playbook in the preseason. I think it messed up our expectations for what the offense was going to do. And I think you set your offense behind the curve.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, JJ, I'm not letting you off the hook. You can't backtrack out of somebody. I'm going to pull all the tape. I will compile everything about you giving me shit about saying that I wanted C.J. Stroud instead of Bryce Young. So don't try to backtrack that.
But Greg, he's an Ohio State fan.
No,
Stroud
exactly,
was
which
his
is
boy.
why it's crazy that he argued with me, and I will pull the fucking tape that he argued with me about
I hate
having
this
CJ Stroud.
receipt conversation so much.
Okay.
The
Also,
thing
Greg,
is last night JJ called in and he was railing on Bryce, dude. I felt like,
right,
and we were like, "Yo, JJ, goat! I thought it was the goat. I thought he was the goat." Here, let's.
By the way, JJ, Greg, you need to pull over a little bit. You're half cut off. Your face is cut off, and you're talking to him. Yeah, there you go.
Scared.
The last thing I want to say is I'm going to put this thing to rest with JJ and this Jamarcus Russell thing, because you're doing what Glenn does and you're putting words in my mouth and making arguments out of things I don't say. What I compared CJ Stroud, what I compared them was because they were number one quarterbacks that were coming into the league, expected to raise this team to the next level. That's what I was comparing them to. Not their play style, not their size, not anything else. The fact they were both number one drafted quarterbacks.
Robitussin more than Gatorade.
You're probably right. I probably misspoke when I said it, but that was what that was about. Okay.
But I will say this, Greg. Even with that being the thing, like if people are twisting that, you're the king of twisting what people say. Like when Cody wants to talk, like you are like I was the entire night tonight. I've been wanting to say, like, Greg, you could be a politician. The way that you like somebody will start to say something, and you are like my wife. You will pick the one thing out, and even though there's context coming that you're just completely ignoring, like you will pick that one thing out to pinpoint exactly why your point is accurate over somebody else's. It is a page out of your book to pull up the Jamarcus Russell thing and use it against you.
All right, let's keep going. Okay. We got people saying this makes for bad podcasting. We don't want to make for bad podcasting. We want to make for great podcasting. And
this is a great podcast. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Hit the thumbs up.
What's up, C3? Hold on, Greg. I ain't letting you off the hook either. I need you to pull up to the Friday free-for-all this Friday and stop ducking, because when you was on some BS talking about you a pro, I'm a rookie, just to try and prove your point with Miles Sanders, when McCaffrey still have more total yards, more total touchdowns, and made the all-pro team over Miles fucking Sanders, bro.
No, he didn't. I'll pull the stats right now. Don't bullshit me. No, he didn't.
For that, bro.
No, he didn't. Sorry, you're wrong. This is what I'm saying with G Baby. He puts bullshit out there that's not true. No, he didn't.
And then you can make me look like a pro.
No, he didn't. Miles Sanders had more yards and more touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey last year. I'll pull it up right now.
Let's go to the next goal.
Hey, what's going on, C3 fam? This is Alex, A14 Panthers calling in.
What up, Alex?
Tough game last night, but we're going to critique everything about the game. Let's just start off with, obviously we got a lot of injuries on the offensive line, shifting guys around. That's never a recipe for success when you're moving guys throughout the line. But we can't always just point the finger at the offensive line. There were times where Bryce Young did have some time in the pocket and just was missing receivers. And then there was also times where receivers just weren't getting open. He was in the pocket, he'd be standing, waiting, no one open, no one getting open. And credit the New Orleans defense for making it hard on Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. But then also, I think it's time to see Thomas Brown, see what he could do on the offensive side of the ball, just his craft with Sean McVay when he worked with him with the Rams. I mean, I just like to see it. That's all. And obviously, we got to establish some sort of run, whether it's running it to the outside, toss plays, screen plays, some sort of trickery a little bit. Maybe even get Chenault involved a little bit more. But yeah. Other than that, defense looks great. Sad to see Shaq be out this season, but we got other guys to step up. But yeah, all right, fellas, keep pounding.
Two things I want to talk about real quick. I was high on the Miles Sanders train. I thought he was going to get a lot more work. I thought he was going to be a 3-down back. I thought all of a sudden that we were going to, again, I should never pick Panther players in fantasy football ever. I don't think he's looked fast. I wonder if the groins still bother him a little bit. When he got out into the open fields, I mean, he was running, but he wasn't like just trucking. And
Right.
so I'm concerned. I wonder if the groin is still bugging him a little bit. The other thing, when we talk about this, like you said, the Thomas Brown storyline, the drum beat's just going to get louder and louder if something doesn't change quickly. Is it even possible at this point for him to turn the play calling over? Like, if he did that, would that be like, oh crap, already?
Yeah, in your first year as the head coach.
And you've already said, I think this is best for our team and stuff. Like, would that, and I'm not saying it might be the right thing to do, but you also have to make business decisions for keeping your job.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, like, I think as a coach, over everything, your obligation is to the betterment of your football team. And a lot of people, I forget who I was listening to, but they were talking about how hard it is to call plays during the game and to be the head coach. You're micromanaging so many different things that a lot of times it is in the best interest of the teams and the players and even of yourself to give the play calling duties to someone else.
Wouldn't it be better to take them away?
Offensive coaches do this.
And wouldn't it have probably been easier to take them away from Thomas Brown than to give them over? So imagine if you started the season and you were we're 5 games in, you getting the same result, and you go, you know what? I think we're going to have a more collaborative relationship with me being the lead.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go.
No, that's a great point.
Let's go to the next call.
What's going on, CP Nation? This is your boy Jay Anderson hitting you up.
What's up, Jay?
I just got a question to ask. Are people mad because we 0-2? Are people really mad that we are 0-2? Or are people just mad because they had high expectations with this quote-unquote all-star coaching staff?
That's it.
And they are 0-2.
Because
I remember before, when they were building this coaching staff, everybody was saying this is an all-star coaching staff. It's an all-star coaching staff. And I probably remember probably one of the 5% or 2% that said, pump your brakes. Y'all got to let this play out. Y'all got to let this play out. We got to actually see how this coaching staff works before you start calling them an all-star coaching staff. You don't tag that name to a coaching staff that hasn't worked together and the game has not been played. Because people start tagging this thing called an all-star coaching staff back in February. And I'm like, yo, what is y'all doing?
On the roster, Jim Caldwell.
Y'all got to see how this play out. And I feel, and I'm one of those guys that let things play out. We 0-2. We look terrible. It's a terrible 0-2. I have seen teams that had a new coaching staff, and some look terrible, and you have some that look good being 0-2. I give you an example. The 2011, I hate that, people don't like to compare the Cam Newton and Bryce Young teams and stuff like that. But 2011, we went 0-2. But through those 2 losses, we look good. There were some promises. I have not seen any promises these 0-2. Now, this is still week 2. We'll see how this a marathon, not a sprint. So we'll see how things groom up. But I say this, that they should have looked better, these last 2 weeks. At least give us something to make us say, yo, we ain't there yet, but dog, we look something promising. If we can tweak this, tweak that a little bit, they don't look good. They don't look good. And I think people are mad because they quote unquote they gave this coaching staff the all-star coaching staff tag, and now they mad. So
yeah,
people need to humble themselves.
Well, I think that's a little bit of what Greg's been talking about with Bryce Young, the whole giving people flowers before you get, and to think it, we kind of thought it was going to be easy in some ways. I felt like, or at least I did. My friend Chandler just sent me a text. He said, "What's the point of having Thomas Brown if Frank is calling the plays?" maybe I'm overreacting, but what's the point? And then he says, I love how Frank is like, I'm calling the plays, and the problem isn't play calling. He's like, it ain't me, bro. I think is like time, but God, we could go back to Ron Rivera isms. 2 or 3 different plays change a game. I
blame
think
Federer. I think he has failed to stock this team with the necessary talent, and maybe the plays are fine, and maybe we just don't have the guys to run them.
All right, let's keep pounding through these calls.
What's up, C3? Anthony from Charlotte.
What up,
Y'all
Ant?
boys are having a good Tuesday. Hope no one's has that Monday Panthers loss hangover still. Just wanted a quick shout out to you boys, man. Thanks for allowing me, especially Greg. I texted him. Thanks for allowing me to come on the podcast, man. That was a really awesome little experience. I love talking with y'all, and it was an honor for sure. Cody, I hope you're doing good. I'll see you soon in person, brother. We'll plan something out. Anyways, onto the actual game and thoughts. I think I gave most of my thoughts last night via my cat call and on the show. I really do want to talk about this coaching staff. Listen, I know it's early, and I just think that I was thinking about this. I don't blame the fans for being super optimistic about this team, because this is honestly what we were sold. We were sold an all-star coaching staff that would be able to elevate Bryce Young's game. He would come in and be fast-paced off the bat, not make a lot of mistakes, be able to move the ball downfield, and that these wide receivers wouldn't be an issue because, Bryce Young has been able to play with, bad wide receivers in college and make it work. And I overestimated that a little bit. I knew these receivers weren't good. I also think that the NFL transition is harder than a lot of people think. I think it does. Good coaching. Listen, as much as I love Cam Newton, I've made this very clear. He's my favorite Panther of all time. He did have a lot of help his rookie season. Chad, the coordinator that was there, knew exactly what to do with him. They let him fly. They let him loose right off the gate with the weapons he had. Rookie quarterbacks need help. I think a prime example is Trevor Lawrence. Now, I'm not saying this coaching staff is as bad as what Urban Meyer and he had to deal with, but Trevor Lawrence was a generational prospect coming out of Clemson. He had a terrible rookie season, only threw for like 12 touchdowns, 17 picks. I remember a lot of people were calling him bust, including Greg. I just think it's going to take time. Bryce, we traded for him. He's going to be here for at least 3 seasons. I know he's been playing bad, but I want this coaching staff to prove to me why they were hired. What makes them so special? I want to see what Thomas Brown can do and be innovative with this offense. I don't see it with Frank Reich. I'm sorry. I think the reasons of why he got fired in Indy are the same reasons of why he's not coaching good right now. I know Bryce played bad. There's a lot to clean up. Can't just all put it on him. I know he's missed some throws. I just think they're not gelling. They're not on the same page.
Right.
And what is our offensive identity? That's what it comes down to. The Falcons know.
He's got a little bit more.
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. I just wanted to say that going up what I said before, they have an identity. We just haven't found that identity yet. And I think the thing is that Trevor Lawrence is a prime example of this. I already said it, but everyone was calling him a bust. They put so much on his plate because he was such a great prospect, kind of like Bryce, where that they're just like, okay, go be Superman. That was the thing with Christian McCaffrey. That's why he got overused here. It's the same thing with Cam. That's why he had injuries eventually, and he couldn't get over the hump because they're asking to do too much. This is a team sport. So if the team isn't going to be willing to actually get him a competent weapon, like a T. Higgins or someone serious like a DeAndre Hopkins, then don't expect when he can't carry the whole team by himself. He's just a rookie. Now, if this is year 5 or year 6 and he's not playing good, that's a different conversation. But this is year 1, and we need to get Bryce help. I know we didn't play good, but that's the truth. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pound.
Thanks for your call. Let's keep rocking.
Appreciate you, Anthony.
D3 Panther family, Panther Billy here.
What's up, Billy?
Y'all got to chill out on all the hate towards our boy Bryce. Now, he's a rookie. You look at the number one overall picks in the past, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. Like, all these guys struggled their first years in the league. It's going to take a little time. This is his second game. The guy needs some help. He needs some help on the line. He needs some offensive weapon help. I can't wait till we go out and get like a T. Higgins next year to really see what this guy will do. Why we're not using LaVisca Chenault more, and why we got DJ Chark standing on the line, on the sideline, is beyond me. But I'm not the coach. I do believe that we should probably turn things over to Thomas Brown and let him do the play calling. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a good night. Everybody like, subscribe, and keep motherfucking pounding.
Love it.
Keep pounding.
Angry Panther Billy out.
Thank you. Good call. Good call, Billy. It's a good question. I think it's tough to turn the reins over right now at this point. And yes, Jay Thomas, this is my stress ball.
Hey guys, it's Chuck from Elizabeth City, aka
What's up, Chuck?
Guy. I know I haven't checked in as much, and I've kept up with you guys, been watching you just at weird times, and haven't been able to call, but been watching the games, keeping up. And I got a lot on my mind and a lot I got to say. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as I can. I just see a lot of people, man, have lost interest. A lot of people. Now, I wouldn't say we already know the bandwagon jumpers and how people are, but as diehards, we stick with it. But there's been something ever since Ron was here and the Gettleman Hurney switch fiasco, and between Richardson leaving and Tepper coming in. And it seems like, we knew that Rivera needed to go. And if Federer comes in and it looked like it was a good fit, but there's a reason why that one guy from the Colts didn't take the job as a GM because of rule. The reason why Luke Kuechly retired early, even though he had concussions, because of rule. We get Rule. He's got a good talking game. He was a snake oil salesman. We finally get rid of him, and things look promising. Last year, the assistant coach moved on to San Fran now and did a good job. But Steve Wilkes, but we needed to make a change. You can't blame Tepper when he's gone out and spent money to bring in a world-class coaching staff. And Frank Reich looks the part. But, guys, we changing defenses from a 4-3 to a 3-4, giving up all these draft picks over the years and losing out. And giving up people like CMC and DJ Moore to try to get picks. But we gapped on a lot of picks, guys, picking a long snapper instead of Trey Smith, a lineman. And then people say, we need to draft more offensive linemen. We did. Last year, we took Aquanu. It numbered the first offensive person on the board. And it's still young. We've thrown picks at players, at positions, and we miss. How much did we take J.C. Horn when Patrick Surtain was there? We knew. I always wanted Michael Parsons, but people said we needed a shutdown corner. They're hard to come by than a linebacker. Seems like we made mistakes bringing Mayfield in and Darnold and throw the number one pick at Bryce Young. And how young? Is it too small? Is the NFL too fast? He has no weapons. It's going to take time.
I'm not bumping anybody up tonight, Anthony. We're just pushing through.
I have a hard time staying focused. I have a hard time putting my fandom out there. Although I do, I'm not rooting for anybody else. It's just.
All right, he's got a little bit more to go.
Hey, guys, it's part two. Chuck from Elizabeth City, a.k.a. Carolina Sports Guy. Just kind of want to finish things up where I said it takes time. I think a lot of us have just ran out of time because we've just been on this dead spin ever since the Super Bowl loss. We had one wild card season and we didn't even win a game. Some teams have had it worse. But it just seems like we've been in a tailspin. And we get excited for every draft. We get excited for every free agent. We get excited for every move. The coaches seems like things are going to get better, and they just never do. I'm not saying give up. We don't give up. And Tony, you know this. I'm an ECU grad, just like you, and a supporter. Where we used to be when we beat the University of Miami, and we'd upset and beat teams, and we were the underdog.
So fun.
And now we have a hard time struggling against teams in conferences less than us. It's hard to get excited every week when you get beat. But
yeah,
all
PTSD.
we can do is hang in. It just seems to me that this losing takes a toll, and we become the Chicago Cubs of the NFL. It's sad.
I think we're scared we're becoming the Browns or the Bears.
Guys, we'll get better, but they just might not get better for a while.
It's
we just gotta take
dejecting,
these
man.
growing pains and deal with it.
I mean,
gotta draft smarter. Gotta bring in the right free agents. We do need to play Brian Burns. We do need some elite talent instead of shipping away for draft picks that might not pan out. Well, that's my rant, guys. Keep doing what you do, Cody, BK, Tony, all you guys.
Thanks, man. It's great to hear from you again, Chuck.
Appreciate you, Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you muted yourself.
Yeah, I have to screen this next call. I can tell. Let me just make sure you guys.
I know. I mean, one, shout out to Chuck. Happy to hear from you. And number two, yeah, listen, I have not been on this pod during a winning season. Like, I've even thought that I was the jinx at a certain point. Like, as soon as I joined C3, we don't get a winning season, man. And when you do this year after year after year, and it's the same old tired song year after year, it's hard to tell people to get excited that, hey, this is going to be the difference maker. This is going to be what puts us over the edge. And, it's like, how many times are you going to build us up just to send us crashing back down?
Well, I think this has been probably look, I mean, we call it year of 20C3, right? Like, as our excitement has been at an all-time high, and it felt like the least manufactured out of the few years, right? The least obligatory, right? Is like, we have to. I think about this is we have to get excited. I mean, we're fans, number one. You get excited by nature regardless. A new season is a new season. Then we're doing the podcast, right? And I was thinking of how difficult it must have been for a Jets fan when Aaron Rodgers went down. Imagine they're podcasters and they look at that team. Oh, yeah. So look, I think this was the first year, and I think that's what's made kind of these first two games a bitter pill to swallow, is that our excitement was at an all-time high, and it for the first time didn't feel manufactured by just inorganically.
Right.
And but there's still plenty of time. Is like, look, is all we need. I just want the team to get better from week to week. That's it. Get better from week to week.
It's almost like it's not too much to ask.
Yeah, I mean, that's not, but I mean, I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable expectation for us to have. I said we were going to be 9-8. Right now, it looks like I told you it could be anywhere between or 7 and 9 wins. Is anything below 7?
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I'm going to stay that way until the end of this, until we're 11 and 0-11 and we can't get to 7 wins, right? Like, I mean, as long as it's mathematically possible right now, I do think we can be 500. I don't think the road is going to be easy now. I was hoping we were going to split these two games. That's what I was really hoping. I was really hoping we would start 2-0 out the gate, and then we could kind of get to 3 and 4 after a tough run, and then find a way to battle back and forth, body blows in the corner with teams. But but the more you keep losing, the harder it's going to be, and you're going to have to get hot at some point if you want to try to get above 7 wins. And I mean, at some point, if you start out 0-6, all of a sudden getting to 7 might seem a far cry. You might need to be
almost pointless.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Had a pick.
Good news. Right. It's not a call. All right, go ahead. And it's
right. Yeah. Man, a big time night for super chats, and we certainly appreciate it. Nirvash with the $10 says, if you're having too many losing seasons in a row, you create a losing culture like the Browns had for the last 20 years until recently. It's hard to overcome constant losing. It's like negative momentum.
Can't
That's
argue with that.
100% what
I
it
mean, the
is.
Jets are like that. The Browns are like that. And then they sold their soul out. Thank God. I will say, regardless of all of this, is I was so thirsty walking in a QB desert. I would have taken anything. I was sitting there going, last year I was like, I wanted the Willis. What was his name? The little guy. The other,
Malik Willis.
Yeah. Because I was I hadn't had a drink of water forever. And I was like, give me a drink of water in this quarterback desert. Then we were Deshaun Watson. I was Deshaun Watson at one point. I was Lamar Jackson at one point. To be honest, this is the best drink of water that I could have right now, because I feel like, yes, we did trade up a good bit. But it was, I look at how bad Deshaun Watson's he's not playing well. Lamar Jackson's not playing well.
Joe Burrow.
Well, yeah, I think Joe Burrow, I ain't worried about cold Joe Burrow just yet. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is that we weren't in the running for Joe Burrow either. But I was ready to trade for Deshaun Watson. I was ready to sell my soul for someone who, and look, I think the moral karma is catching them. So let's go to the next call, because we got to, we're just playing calls.
Gentlemen, let's say if that dipshit dumbass David Tepper was to put you in charge of the Carolina Panthers tomorrow, said, fix this, get us to at least we can be competitive. Don't make Chicago get the number 1 overall pick and get us to a few wins, get us to build momentum, build some hope. Tell me, what does the GM, Tony, Cody, CK, the Bat Daddy, Fat Daddy, Boy Toy do? Tell me, what is your 1 or 2, 3 things he would do to get this season, to save this season? Bye-bye.
Ooh, tough question there. We'll start with our resident GM, Cody Lashney.
Yeah, I would say you have to make a trade at the deadline. And I would even go as far as to say you need a high-end wide receiver. And, the only one that comes to mind right now is T. Higgins. And I would love to have T. Higgins on this team. Now, T. Higgins is not the cure to all that ails us. He's not a speed receiver, but he is an incredible reception receiver, jump ball receiver. Think about like a Mike Williams type, big, long, can jump up and get the football. And I'm a Clemson fan, man. I would love to pull for T on this team. But they're going to have to do it, because let me tell you, this wide receiver core is not built to last. I'm telling you, it just isn't. I have been saying, listen, I wanted so bad to be excited for Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo has been very disappointing, if I'm being honest.
Go ahead, CK. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, I actually agree. I don't think there's one thing you can do to fix this team to make them not a top 3 to 5 pick. To be honest with you, I don't.
Well,
but if you're going to make a move, if you're going to make a big splash move, I agree with Cody. I think you go wide receiver, but I'm going Smith from Philly. I think that T. Higgins, Smith, and Waddle are the three best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, and I think they're all 3 number 1 wide receivers. I'm taking Smith from Philly.
I like that. I literally said that name to Anthony earlier. I
love him as a player, though.
Yes.
Mine is going to be more philosophical. I know this is meant to be like quick hitters. They're not playing this game. They're not running routes that indicate to me, like when you see teams playing against the Panthers, how often those crosser routes are wide open. So I think you've got to get Bryce's confidence back. You've got to play. You've got to call plays that are going to play into his strength. And that's going to be getting those short, intermediate completions so that he can kind of get that momentum moving in the right direction. Right now, you're at a risk of doing damage to his psyche, right? The longer we put him in a position where he's performing underwhelmingly and he's having to take the brunt of the negativity, I think that's you're going to create a really difficult. It's like when a kicker goes bad, right? A kicker goes bad, you're done, right? There's not much you can do to recover from that for the most part. But I think a quarterback that's a rookie quarterback, if you get that in their mind that they're a bust, I think it almost as though they buy into it. You've seen it from time and time again from these guys who have incredible talent who just who flame out. So you've got to get him that those positive, you got to get the ball moving down the field in a positive way early on. So that's what I'm saying is getting those crosser routes, getting those quick, easy completions.
I am identifying any player on this team that you don't see being an irreplaceable asset next year. I think Jeremy Chin, I want to put this up. His look is Jeremy Chin has become a part-time player. And even though he had a great game in the beginning, as soon as they went into passing sets and their running back got hurt, they put in more cornerbacks. So, look, Jeremy Chin is in a contract year. So I think if he plays and flashes some good things, and you got a team that could benefit from a guy that could play like safety linebacker type position or something, whatever, maybe if you could get some value for Chin, not because I think you're going to acquire a bunch of picks, but I'm like, hey, you're not going to sign him next year if you don't see yourself signing him. And I think my other move is trying to hopefully Dante Jackson stays healthy for 4 or 5 games straight. And I would almost trade all of these corners away and just be okay with nobody. And what I mean by that is I would try to pile up money. We're scheduled to have a lot of free agent money already, salary cap money next year. So what I would just try to do is shed any contract that potentially that you don't think the player is going to fit for you for the foreseeable future. So you can get Lou Vu and some other guys. And then next year I would get aggressive in free agency and I would go and get a top tier offensive lineman, whether that's paying a guard big time money, whether that's paying a wide receiver or going and getting a more proven cornerback to hopefully pair and a healthier cornerback to pair with maybe potentially a JC Horn that could one day play. Maybe it'll happen.
Hey, I want to say something, and people are going to get mad, and I promise you I don't care. Jeremy Chin's the most overrated player on this team, bro.
No, he's not. People just been crapping on him for a year and a half.
He may be overrated, but I don't think he's the most overrated.
The coaching staff is literally telling you what they think of the man. Coming into this year, all that we were asking is what position does Jeremy Chin play? Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? A lot of people want him to play linebacker, and they're not even willing to put him there. Everybody knows that he's bad in coverage. It's like to everybody that's like, oh, no, we can't trade Jeremy Chin, or oh, don't pay.
Well, if he's
Brian
bad,
Burns
you're not going to be able to trade him.
You have money for Jeremy Chin. It is insanity. It's insanity, man. He's a great guy. He's fast as hell, but he's not a top tier anything.
My mom's still in the chat. She said, "My suggestion: invite Bryce on your podcast." Done, Mom. Done. It's a great suggestion. What the problem is getting him to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
He won't come on the podcast because there's a horseman on this.
I don't hate Bryce Young. I don't. I think he's a good quarterback, but he'll hate me. Because
he will be the nicest guy. He'll win you over. And he'll be like, "You're right, Greg. It's okay to have doubts in me, and it's okay. I understand that. Those are all well founded." That's how he answers those questions. He's phenomenal.
He is. He's very good with that. I agree with that.
All right, let's go to the next call.
What's up, C3? Tyler here. Hope you guys are doing well. It is a Blues evening. The Panthers are not off to a good start, and it's not looking good. The defense looks phenomenal. The defense looks better than I thought it would be. The offense is looking worse than I thought it would be. Knew it would be rough at the beginning with new coach, new system, new quarterback, new players, but didn't expect it to be this bad. I think there's enough money to go around for everybody. I think a big part of it is playmakers around Bryce. Another part of it is the play calling. And then Bryce has made some mistakes too. But I don't think you can put it on just the play calling or just the receivers. I think it's a collection of things. The one thing I did not like, I mean, I kind of hope it's true, but the one thing I didn't like was when Frank Reich said that, don't worry, it's really close. It looks bad, but we're so close. We're almost there. It kind of gave me a Matt Rule vibes. I didn't like that, but I hope it does get better. It is almost there, but the receiver, again, I just think it's the weapons is the biggest thing in my opinion, but I think it's a collection of things, and I think it will get better as the season goes on. It's just starting 0-2, but then starting 0-2 in your division is not a good way to start. But there's plenty of football left. We'll see what happens, but the offense has got to step up a lot. It does not look good. So, T. Higgins, 2024, please. Hope you guys have a good one. Love your podcast. Keep pounding.
Appreciate you, bro. Keep pounding. Yeah, I mean, if y'all saw the thumbnail here, I can even put it up real quick. I put it in the thumbnail because so many people online are doing this comparison between Frank Reich and Matt Rule. And Greg, you were one of the people that originally you came down pretty hard on Matt Rule pretty much before everyone else. You see right there, I got the Frank Reich and the Matt Rule in the same photo. Do you see similarities between those two?
I mean, yeah, of course there are. I mean, they're both white guys with, scruffy beards and, kind of old. Look, here's my thing too. And I'm not taking pride in this with Matt Rule. This is what I do with Matt Rule. I said, prove it. The same thing I'm doing with Bryce Young. I'm just saying, prove it. I'm not going to knock you if you do bad, or if you do great, I'm going to give you credit for that. If you do bad, I'm going to knock you for it. And Matt Rule ended up being kind of garbage, and Nebraska's finding that out right now. I don't want people to think that I take pleasure in being right about us being terrible. I'm just realistic, and I just want to see it before I call it. All
right, let's go to the next goal.
Hey Tony, who's Sebastian?
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. I can't believe y'all even did a post game last night, knowing we were having the big show tonight. But hey, y'all keep grinding just like we keep pounding. Boy, that game was bullshit last night. And the fact that we only lost 20-17 makes it worse because they fucking suck too. It's not like, what were they doing? They weren't doing anything. Oh, I tell you what they were doing. They were doing shit that a blind person couldn't see coming. Literally everything the Panthers would do. I knew they was going to run Miles Sanders. That's all they did. Run Miles Sanders. Even though he didn't get shit, they force-fed him the ball.
Well, you got to keep running the ball.
Why?
You can't.
I'd like to know this. Why do coaches do that knowing that it's not doing well? I don't know why. But you know what? And then I go to work today, and my buddy's like, I'm so mad at the broadcast for trying to make excuses for Bryce. And they're like, I don't know what he was listening to, but, he was like, C.J. Stroud completes 64% of his passes, and he gets sacked the most in the NFL. But you know what? If he's going to complete them passes, then that means if he's going to complete 64% of his passes, then that means receivers are getting open. And you know what? Our receivers aren't getting open because the ground doesn't count as an eligible receiver. Okay? The ground does not count. But that being said, I'm not going to sit here and say that people like Greg are wrong when they say, what has he shown me yet? Okay? Greg has a point too, and I know, and you know what? And I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't been the one that was like, rah, rah, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, whatever, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah. At the time, I believed it. And you know what? Maybe next year. Maybe this year's just a foundation. We're getting better incrementally at times with like dynasties do. You know, dynasties didn't just happen overnight. And the one that, like the dream teams that won, look at the Bucks that won the Super Bowl overnight when they got Tom Brady. They're paying for it now. What are they going to do in the future?
They're leading the division
They
right
give
now,
so
dude.
much just to win one trophy.
Like,
we're going to build slow. We're going to give our time to win multiple trophies. You better believe that. You better believe I'm pounding the table for us in the future, and this is a foundation year. Until we be good this year? Yeah, maybe. Are we 0-2? Yeah. Does it suck? Yeah. You know, is Bryce Young looking like a world beater? No.
Look, I get his point, but the Bucks are 2-0, leading the division, and Baker Mayfield is throwing for 400 yards a game. So, like, let's not act like they don't have our quarterback from last year.
Greg, he only
beating
did
the
that
shit out of
one
the division
game,
right
bro.
now.
He only did that one game. Hey, I'm gonna give Joey had a second call, but I'm gonna just give him his growl. All right, we're gonna get just Joey's growl here. I think can do this right.
I think that also
Time to build, y'all, and be able to touch them. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Nice.
I think the Tampa Bay situation with Baker also leads to the, kind of gives way to the conversation about how important wide receivers really are.
Good point.
Yeah, good point.
Good point.
Hey, it's White Chalk Espresso. All right, let's get to it. Cody said that the game was live. It was a great crowd. To be honest, I went to week 1 opener versus Atlanta. I went to the
Kevin
opener
just loves
Monday
to
Night
shit
Football.
on the Panthers.
The Atlanta crowd was a lot better. The environment was a lot better.
Just a realist, man. He's
It
on my
wasn't
side.
even a contest. Like, that Atlanta crowd was fiery. They were having fun. They were it was ridiculous compared to what we do in Charlotte. It was very disappointing. Bryce had some good throws. He had some bad ones. There was one time he threw it right in the dirt, and just a lot of people in the crowd were booing. They booed him. And, I said, it looks like AR was the one that was ready to start in the NFL week 1. And Bryson, you just said, and honestly, the way the season goes, if we're on it, like, maybe we should have started Andy Dalton week 1.
Oh
If
my
y'all say
God,
these
Kevin.
receivers are trash. If y'all say the play calling is trash,
Should we have won
maybe
these
it was
games
best
with Andy
for
Dalton?
him to sit
Yeah,
a week. Or
possibly.
not a week, but sit the season.
No.
Let Andy Dalton go. But you couldn't
Andy
do it.
Dalton is
Straight up,
top
it's
10
just
all
like,
time on passing yards.
It's
Don't
not
get out
gonna
of here
be
with that.
better
man.
in this offense
Top 10.
than Bryce.
Cody.
Based on what?
Cody.
Terrible offensive
Cody.
weapons.
You
No.
I almost
dirty,
knew exactly what
dirty,
you were going to say.
nasty, disgusting human being. I can't believe you did that last night. Like, seriously, dude? Like, what
Calling
the
you out,
fuck
man.
is wrong with you?
Calling you out.
Like, I seriously think you need to go to therapy. Like, you are a disturbing, disgusting human being. I'm just going to leave it at that. Nobody needs to know what happened. Just going to leave it at that. I'm going to distance myself from you. I gotta step away from you, bro.
Go get tested too.
Can't be around you. Can't have it. Just gonna leave it.
Kev, what you saw last night?
Defense looked great. They held up as much as they could. I'm starting to turn around on my viewpoint with Brian Burns. And if we're a losing team by the trade deadline and somebody offers 2 firsts, I'm taking it.
Hell yeah.
If
He may
they
be a
offer
great
you
player, but
one
we
first, are you taking it?
We just traded so much for this rookie quarterback. And we need all the help we can get now. But, those are my thoughts. And back-to-back highest scoring champion in fantasy, by the way. So, all y'all can either do espresso. Out.
My question to you guys, if they offer you 1 first, are you taking it?
Hell yes. I'm
I
trading back in the 2024 first round if I can. next year. Look, man, Cody, you can say all you want to about Andy Dalton, okay? But here's the bottom line. Andy Dalton is top 10 all time in passing yards. Bryce Young hasn't proven shit.
That crap. Oh,
okay.
No,
so if you want to argue, well, Bryce will do better. You have 2 games of shitty play. 2 games of shitty play versus a career of top 10 all time.
If you believe Andy Dalton is better in this offense, I have some
in this
property,
offense right now. Yes, he is. I guarantee you, he
on
is.
the other side of Mars.
Then why did they put him in the 4th down play? Then why did they put him in the quarterback sneak? If he's not better, why did they put him in?
That's a bad argument, Greg.
No, it's not a bad argument.
Greg, that's a horrible argument. Why do they put Taysom Hill in his situations?
Because
we talked
Taysom
about this
Hill
on
is
Sunday.
meant to be that player. That's what they have Taysom Hill for.
No,
is to
here's
be
the
that
thing.
guy.
It means that they value Andy Dalton less than they value Bryce Young.
No, it doesn't. It means they
would put Andy Dalton in there for the injuries, and
that's your
instead
opinion.
of
No, he's right.
Why?
No, he's not
Greg.
right.
He's
How
right.
I could say just as easily they don't think Bryce Young could do it, and they think Andy Dalton can.
No, it's this. Is that it's
Why
a
can I not say
skill.
that? No.
Because it's not right, Greg.
What
is
is
it not
Andy
right?
Dalton
Because you don't want to be.
Greg,
It's
what
no,
is
there's-
Andy
there's
Dalton
no-
supposed
give
to
me
do
an
in this
argument then.
offense
Give me an argument that says it's wrong.
that Bryce isn't doing?
It's wrong.
What is
I'll
Andy
tell you why
Dalton
it's
going
wrong.
to do in this offense?
Why is it wrong?
I'll
Why
explain
is it
it to you. It's very simple. It's very simple. Is that a QB sneak is something that does not take an exceptional physical skill set to accomplish.
Okay.
So Andy
So Bryce
Dalton
should be able to do it, right?
No, Andy Dalton is capable of carrying out a QB sneak. In fact,
not.
his body size may even lend towards it a hair more. One play, one type of play. Now,
making my
here's the
argument.
thing. No, I'm not. Here's the thing is that if you have a guy over here that can pull that play off, and that could potentially say that, all right, this is the example. The analogy is if you got, and CK won't get this one because he doesn't like shoes. If you have a really nice pair of shoes, when it rains outside, you don't wear them ever, because the rain is a potential way to destroy the sneaker. But if you have another pair of shoes that don't have a hole in the bottom, that matches your outfit, that is older, you wear those on a rainy day.
Okay. Let's talk about it. So basically, Greg's argument is that he believes Andy Dalton's a better player, a quarterback.
Once again, you're twisting my words.
You're trying to have it both ways. You can't.
No, I'm not trying to have it both
you
ways.
can't say
No,
that
I'm
he's
not.
10
Y'all
all-time
twisting my
passing
words.
yards,
No.
and then say that he's so much better.
I
than
said
Bryce Young
Andy
are on the
Dalton
same
may be
level.
a better quarterback in this situation than Bryce Young is. That does not mean Andy Dalton will be Andy Dalton is a better quarterback than Bryce Young will be.
What is he supposed to do?
Y'all are twisting my words.
Saying that though.
But what is he supposed to do better than Bryce?
Well, he obviously
One
runs the quarterback
thing,
sneak better. That's why they put him in.
One
He
play,
obviously ran the
Greg.
quarterback sneak better.
That's like
that's why they put
saying
him in.
this though.
To be fair,
I'm not even willing to fight on it. Let him do it. Let him say.
Hey, no. Here's the thing. There is one thing that Andy Dalton probably does better than Bryce Young.
He passes the ball a lot better.
Oh, do his hair.
Show it.
No. Slide.
Oh, yeah.
it's
You know,
definitely
actually,
not
Will
you know
Bryce
what,
Young
CK?
ever be top 10 all time in passing yards?
We don't know. I don't have a crystal ball.
Do you think right now, based on your
conversation?
based on your
ball.
two
Greg,
games,
the podcast is
based on
3
your two
hours
games
long,
that you
and
think
you're
he's
gonna
great?
ask that question?
I don't.
Based on your two games that he's so great, do you think he's going to be top 10?
Nobody has said that.
Yes.
We're not even saying he's so great. You said yes. Yes.
Yes. You want to
Here,
fight
is
that
CK, I
fucking
actually
fight.
wanted to bring this up is with the slide thing, because he can't slide.
No, he did it again.
But no, I actually think his not sliding well in this case was a turf thing.
Yeah, I was
It
wondering
looked
about that
the
as well.
Cleat kind of stuck in the turf.
Yeah,
And
I was
so
wondering about that.
The last slide was just silly looking, the first game or whatever, when we saw him do it.
That was
This
in
one
preseason,
really felt like it looked better in execution, but you saw that heel catch.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, that better not be a lampshade injury.
What's
Oh,
up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. I know I already called him twice.
But this call is
CK's
just
gonna
simply
lose
for what
his mind.
Greg brought up. Great point. I think if we're really bad, you got to trade Brian Burns, ask for our pick back, and then just institutionally tank. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. I want him on this team.
Hell yeah.
Get Marvin Harrison. That dude is a generational receiver, and then we roll, man.
Wait until
And
we
then
have to
we roll,
listen to
because I'll tell
Greg
you
on
what,
that one.
our defense last night looked pretty good.
I don't think
Brian
people can
Burns
argue
only
that
got one pressure. I mean, we got 4 sacks last night, and he wasn't a part of it. Like, this defense is good. Like, I don't think he's as detrimental to the defense anymore as we thought, because we have scheme. We have an actual defensive play caller that knows what he's doing. The other thing is we didn't even have J.C. Horn. Give me your thoughts on that. Trade Brian Burns to the Bears. Ask for the pick back. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. and we roll. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
I don't think it's.
Give him the clap.
I think that I think the Panthers may be indicating that they're willing to consider that now. If you're not signing them to the money, and that indicates that you think that what he's asking for is an overpay.
If not, we're going to lose him next year, right?
No. Well, technically, no. You could franchise tag him if you really wanted to. So that is, and I think this though is while defensive ends are really hard. I don't think you can replace Brian Burns through the draft immediately unless you're in a top 5 position and you
Which we're not. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But if you have a bunch of money, you could go get 2 players like Zach Crosby type, you know what I'm saying, where you're not paying 34 next year because of inflation, like Cody's saying. And Cody's right, is if he balls out this year and you get another year of inflation at the position, it's going to be even more expensive.
It's like $36 million a year.
So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Next call. We're getting to the short end. We're getting to the end, guys. Cody, CK, hold on, CK.
That was me,
For me.
C-Dog. 1983.
What up, C-Dog?
And man, I gotta say, man, the highlight of my night was goddamn Tony and goddamn Cody arguing about goddamn Bryce's performance last night. But man, I think the man too little. You know what I'm saying? Like I said again, from last week, and then I'm tired of hearing all these motherfucking excuses for this motherfucker. He's supposed to be goddamn all this shit, you know, so fucking accurate. He's supposed to be Brady-esque, goddamn Peyton Manning-esque, Drew Brees-esque, so smart as shit.
He really is.
Even last night, you watching the game, he making all them goddamn kills, making all them audibles, but he ain't doing shit with it. You know, like, man, I'm just tired of the fucking excuses, man. Cam Newton came in, he forgot that 400 fucking yards, 2 games in the goddamn row.
Steve Smith.
Goddamn, the old ass Steve Smith.
You can't say old ass.
Now,
Steve
you
Smith.
called me out earlier for picking out the littlest details of every argument. That's exactly what y'all are doing right here. Exactly what y'all are doing.
Man, goddamn Mingo. Goddamn, got Butterfingers.
Steve Smith.
Jordan Gross. Be wide open.
Exactly what y'all are doing right here.
Bryce Young can't even give him the ball. You got to be overthrowing his ass. That's question my goddamn deep ball. We seen all that bullshit. You know, most people all hype about these goddamn videos. Got them Bryce Young practicing the receivers. Everybody looking good and all that bullshit. What they doing right now? Ain't doing shit. Ain't doing one goddamn deep ball for completion in the goddamn season. These first 2 fucking games. Right now, man, Bryce Young doing a little better than the fucking back corral right now. What the fuck are we talking about here, man?
We got to do PrizePicks.
That shit crazy.
Thank you, Kev.
Getting loud tonight, man.
Holy cow.
Y'all are trying to bring up this Peyton Manning.
Come in here, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the goddamn content. You know, them boys got them going 10 years strong. The longest running Panther podcast out here on YouTube and Rumble, so on. And they got the goddamn game simulation. You know, and I love those.
Appreciate you, bro.
You know? But it's gonna be a long year, man. Everybody buckle up. Make sure you got some good weed, you got them beers, some good liquor, moonshine, something. Just be fucked up, man. Then Frank Reich fucking trash, and why this motherfucker trying to call plays? Like, man, I can go on so long about this shit, man. But he was the wrong fucking hire. You know, like, why you got that hire Thomas Brown, won't let Thomas Brown cost some plays? You're dumbass shit. Dumbass retarded ass shit, man. But we still got the same owner. Man, depressing, embarrassing.
Thanks a lot, C-Dog. He is a brand ambassador. We appreciate it. C-Dog, man, you're a great friend of the podcast. Don't forget that if you are interested in playing daily fantasy football sports, PrizePicks is the way to do it. PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code C3. They will match your first-time deposit bonus up to $100 if you use that code. So you put in $100, you get $100 in promo funds. You put in $99, you get $99 in promo funds. One of our C3 Prize Picks specialists, White Chocolate Espresso, just won $250 using his fantasy skills because he doesn't know football. It turns out he knows the WNBA. $250. You know what? One of the last entries I put in was also in the WNBA. How about this? Some things that G-Baby, Tony Dunn, and Kev got in common is that we win Prize Picks on WNBA picks. Maybe we should look at those, but instead we're going to look at these NFL picks super quick. I did not, just to show you how it works. You got to pick multiple players for multiple teams, and you can win up to 5 times or more of your money. This past week, I did not do so hot, guys. I got Jamal Williams. You know what? They're friendly. This, though, is that if a player gets hurt early, they will reboot your pick right here. Jamal Williams, I wanted to get for, and I don't know why I made this pick. I was hoping 1 catch, 9.5 yards. Terrace Marshall, my friend Chandler sent me a text during this podcast again. He said, is Terrace Marshall Jr. a bust? The answer is yes at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and really, he might be a bust not because of his own fault, but because of the coaching staff that refuses to allow him to prosper in some ways. Who knows? But the last coaching staff was not friendly to him. Steve Wilkes, this is one player that would have loved having Steve Wilkes as the coach. He didn't get in there at all in this game. So, look, I had a couple of losers this week. Adam Thielen, I was right on target. Nothing there. Look, Miles Sanders couldn't get 50 yards rushing. I got the Olave. Usually my go-to entry is less than on Baker and Justin. I feel like a less than on Baker is a safe pick. So I had a tough week. I haven't got one. And this one was unfair. Thank you. They refunded that. That's a winner right there. Travis Hunter. And we are Buffalo. If you're not into the Colorado Buffaloes, excuse me, I said we are Buffaloes, not Buffalo. You ain't living, man. That mug, you want to talk about excitement. Boulder, Colorado they're like, we love black people now. That's true is I just watched a 60 Minutes interview with Dion, and they were talking about he went from a place in Jackson, Mississippi, where like 70% of the population is black, where he went to Boulder,
2%.
Colorado, which one. Yeah. It's like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's like 1 to 2%.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Dion, man. I think he's the fucking man.
He is brutally honest to where it hurts hearing it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like the bravado, man. I wish I had a coach that would cuss. I feel like the Panthers did that a little bit. Like, we need someone with some edge, man. Enough of the Boy Scout leaders,
Well,
bro.
I think he also is I don't even think it's that. I think he is just brutally honest. He walked in there and he told those kids, go watch the 60 Minutes interview with him. It's fantastic. He walked in and told those kids, he said, we're not going to be on this team. The kids that were already there.
And he was right.
And he said this, if that's what's going to keep you, if that's going to hurt your feelings and make you not up for the challenge, you weren't muscled enough for us anyway. He has a tough love, but it works. I already got my eye on this. I like Tua more than against Denver.
I like
Geno. I don't know.
Right there.
This is what we're doing though, is we're going right away. And we're looking for Tyler Lockett. Yes. These are my plays for. Oh, and you guys want to see the Panthers numbers? We need to, because that's what we promised you. We're going to do some Panthers look here. Almost is Lamar 220 seems like a mountain to climb. Daniel Jones 213, is that a mountain to climb against San Francisco?
Maybe.
The only number they have right now for the Panthers is Pinheiro.
Yeah, Pinheiros are only only.
That's not a
consistent.
good. That's not a good
goals.
thing.
That's hilarious.
A
lot of faith.
Gosh, I like the 49ers on everything.
Dude, I'm telling you, look at Kirk Cousins. Go back to the passing. Look at Kirk Cousins. I like that number.
What is Kirk Cousins? 283 against the Chargers.
The Chargers have given up a shit ton of points. Kirk Cousins is one of the best passing quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not one of the best, but every year he gets
a high number though.
20 yards. He has Jordan Addison and what's his name?
That's a less than
the
right
one
there.
the one everybody wanted to pick first round this year.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson with the first pick ever. God, so stupid.
This is a more than right there. Who you guys like? Give me one more. I need to make some money back.
I like Kirk Cousins, man. Like that's what
I'm not picking that one. I don't feel good about that.
Do receiving yards.
Debo, Giants, Christian McCaffrey, 30.5.
Hey, where's hey, tell me if Jalen Hyatt's up there, because that dude is proven to be.
Tyreek Hill can get that in one play. Christian.
What's that player from the wide receiver from the Rams?
The new guy. He's got to have a low day. This one's scary right here. Didn't Devontae leave with a concussion? He might not even play.
Remember, hit the little white lines. It shows you what their recent numbers are.
Yeah, well, who you want?
Let me see.
What about DJ?
55.
DJ's no.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
I mean,
they're gonna have to be past it. I like
get that in one pass.
I like this. I like this. That's where we're going. Look, we're gonna
go.
That's
a whole lot of Moors, though. I feel like whenever you have so many Moors, it's like,
we're going for it. I need it. It's PrizePicks. Use the promo code C3. That's what you got to do. You can find the link in the show notes and the show description. Gets you a 100% deposit match on your first time up to $100. I can't tell you how fun it is to play PrizePicks, particularly when you're winning. And boy, you can win, folks. You can win. Look at this. There is ability to win. I just didn't do it this past 2 weeks. So anyway, PrizePicks, we're making a comeback. Here we go. We've got just a couple more calls in the hole, and we are out of here. We'll fly through the rest of the show.
This 2083 TV, but this is my second call. But what I'm saying is, this is the first time in a long time, man, since I've been a Panther fan, where I don't see us being good. Like, even right now, after the Matt Rule shit, I was like, man, it's probably going to be better. But then we went out here and got Frank Reich, who I thought was the wrong hire, Should have kept Steve Wilkes for at least for goddamn 2 years. So at least 1 year, give him a full season. But man, I just, like, right now, this is depressing, man. Going this long and being this trash, man. I haven't never seen it be like this in a long time, Just fucking, mediocre as fuck, man. Like, dumbass fucking owner, man. His dumbass wife. You got that doing.
All right, C-Dog.
Then,
what else you got?
What
Let's
did
see.
Frank Reich do with the coach to make goddamn Pepper even hire this guy? Like, what did he do? He only had Andrew Luck for 1 year. I mean, was this nigga so goddamn sorry? Andrew Luck said, man, fuck this shit. I got them tired. Did anybody think about it like that? Said Andrew Luck said, fuck this shit.
That's
I don't know.
Only the sit down.
Then he got fired around the same time he fired Matt Rule. Like, come on, man. I just don't understand, man. I wish we can goddamn go get
What if
Deion
Bryce Young
Sanders
just
or something.
retired?
I don't know. But I don't know when we're going to be good. I'm tired of doing this same other bullshit, man, every year. Like, man, just change it up, man. I don't know, man. This is real depressing, man. I don't know when it's going to be good again. I had no faith in Frank Reich. I had no faith in David Tepper. I ain't going to hold y'all up, but everybody have a great night. Whenever you come in here, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to that content. This is Long Beach Runner Panther podcast out there, the C3 podcast. They're live every Tuesday, every Friday. You got the free fall on Friday. You got the game simulation on goddamn Saturday. C-Dog, thanks to E3 TV. Y'all.
Wonderful. Great friend of the show. Great friend of the show. Next call.
Love C-Dog.
Hey, this is Daryl Hardy from
What's up,
Raleigh,
Daryl?
North Carolina. I just want to start off by saying I think this show was awesome. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
My kind of take on the first two games, offensively speaking, is I feel like we have a below average offensive line. And I truly believe we've had offensive line issues, especially in the pass blocking area over the last 5 seasons, to be honest with you. I feel like no matter what quarterbacks we've had back there, whether it be Teddy Bridgewater, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Cam Newton coming back again, back to Sam Darnold, now with Bryce Young, I feel like every quarterback has not had adequate time to throw the ball. And there always seems to be a glaring difference when we play opposing teams with how much times, you know, their quarterbacks have for the most part versus what we have. I really think if Bryce Young is going to have any chance of being successful, we have to invest a lot of time, money, and effort in really building up this offensive line to be above average. He needs time. And I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. I feel like run blocking wise, our offensive line is decent. I would say average. Pass
Cody, this
blocking
is your
wise, I
call.
feel like this has been a glaring issue, and it just bothers me to see Bryce Young get hit the way he has over the last 2 games. And I'm just curious what you guys think. I'm to the point I've even said that the Carolina Panthers need to strongly consider over the next couple of years with their early draft picks in the 1st and 2nd round, at least between one of those two selecting offensive linemen over the next couple of years. Strong investment. Anywho, look forward to hearing your thoughts, and have a good evening.
Great call.
Yeah, behind the line, I mean, our guards, we're missing Brady Christensen and Austin Corbett. And yeah, they did okay in pass protection, but then there were times when Bryce was getting beat up on. The rookie Brian Bresee out of Clemson for the Saints got home fairly easy, and he was in on one of the sacks, and I believe it was a fumble as well. So, yeah, I mean, with Bryce, your bread and butter is going to be protecting him and putting weapons around him. In fact, it's the one benefit of having a quarterback that's 5'10", 200 pounds, because it is your job to make sure that he always has the best protection that money can buy.
Whoa. Did you just try to spin off the fact that you have to protect him superiorly as a benefit
this for a long time?
As a benefit
saying
to
this
having a
forever.
quarterback?
That is
I get that. I get that.
The same thing
but
they
y'all
did
listen
with
to
Drew
the comment.
Brees.
Listen to the comment. You're saying he has to have a superior offensive line to
No,
succeed.
what it does
That's
is
not
it
a
makes
benefit.
you mentally aware
That's not a
of the
benefit.
importance of. Yes, it is. But it's
Everyone
here's the
needs a
thing.
good offensive line.
Look,
Everyone.
First you had a guy who was a big quarterback in Andrew Luck who did not get protection and got injured and out of the league early, and just he was tired of rehabbing. Frank Reich was a part of that. He saw that. Another thing is the Colts were a little too late on drafting the offensive lineman. Remember just like Dallas did. Dallas had a terrible offensive line for Tony Romo, and then they figured it out, and then they just started drafting all these offensive linemen. The thing that what Cody is saying, Greg, is that what we said for years when it came to Cam Newton, because he was a tank, gave you the luxury of putting Byron Bell at left tackle.
How'd that work out?
Well, that's the point.
It's not a luxury. It's not a luxury.
He made it work. He made chicken
For
salad
1 year.
out of chicken shit. But how about
1
this?
year.
Did you ever see Tom Brady with a terrible line? Did you ever see Peyton Manning with a horrible line? Did you? No. Once you know that these guys are pocket
I get what you're saying.
passers, and that then what you do is you prioritize protection rather than saying, oh, Cam Newton can survive. He's mobile. He'll do it. That's what he's saying, Greg.
Everyone
We don't
needs
need to get an
protection.
argument. It's
Everyone
12,
needs
18 at
protection.
benefit. That does not
But
make
Lamar
benefit to having a
Jackson-
worse
Yes,
cornerback.
No,
Lamar
what he's saying
Jackson
is it's a
is not as-
philosophical benefit
Right,
to the way you draft
Dude.
because it's going to always make you more cognizant
Well, I guess
of
the philosophical benefit is that we
Right.
draft better wide receivers,
It's
so we
not
have
even
better quarterback. We
philosophical.
draft better
If you
tight
have
ends.
a-
We
if-
draft better running
Greg,
backs.
If you have a quarterback
That's a benefit.
like Lamar Jackson, they're going to be able to get away from pressures and be able to do a lot of those different things that a pocket passing quarterback isn't
All
going
right,
to
let's
do.
go through these calls, man, and get out of here. We got we're not going to.
Hey guys, it's Connor calling in.
What's up,
the
Connor?
first time I'm calling in a while. And the thing that I want to call in about is how disgusted I am at the fact that Frank Reich still allows himself to call the plays, and how Bryce
We're
Young
calling your
still
parents.
stepped in and asked Frank
What'd you
Reich
say?
to
He
let
didn't say
Thomas
that.
Brown.
You didn't say the F word?
I'm also extremely
No, I thought you
frustrated
said
about the fact
disgusted.
that
Oh.
our receivers just cannot get a separation. And our rookie second-round receiver will not get any targets. That really shows incompetence right there.
You're
I feel
right.
like
He
that we
said
would have been
disgusting.
so
I
much
see it
better
on
off
Twitter.
at this point with DeAndre Hopkins.
Thanks, Connor, for the call. Let's get these last.
Hey, it's White Chocolate Espresso again. I had to
We
call
only
in
paying
second
this
time to
because
clear
you
some
pay us
shit up.
money.
All right. People whining, complaining that Scott didn't get him enough help, didn't get Bryce enough help. I am sorry. Scott got the best receivers available in free agency. DeAndre Hopkins was never going to sign here, people. He even said it in an interview. Remember? Man, Detroit didn't want me. Man, the Lions didn't want me. Man, the Patriots didn't want me. Like, he never once said, man, the Carolina Panthers don't want me. Like, he was never going to, I don't care, you can throw him the back. No, he was never going to come here. He didn't want a rookie. It's just plain facts. The best we could do was Adam Thielen, DJ Chark. That was literally the best was available in free agency. You want to judge Scott on trading up for DJ Johnson? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You want to judge him for drafting Mingo? Yeah, go ahead, whatever. But, yeah, that was the best free agent the Carolina Panthers were going to get. Like, you got to remember, they got to want to come here, people. They got to want to come here.
They have to
And
feel
we had to
wanted.
beg, basically.
They have to
Adam
feel
Thielen come
wanted.
here and throw them a good bag. So, yeah.
Well, this is
Calm
the
down
problem.
with
When
the,
you're not a good
"Oh,
team,
we
you got to
didn't get
pay
him
more
enough
for
weapons."
free agents, and you
We
got.
gave them the best we could. Period. Peace.
Okay. All right, last call. Here it goes.
All right, so like I listened to the previous caller, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no way Chicago's trading our pick back from Brian Brent. No way that happens.
Yeah.
And like man, I'm just like,
I can hear
I
Sea
think
Dog
we
in the
should
background.
recoup the capital, but I don't think we're gonna get our pick back. I just wanted to point that out.
All right, thanks a lot. Great calls
Appreciate you, bud.
tonight. A lot of calls, man. There's been a lot of interaction with the C3 Panthers podcast throughout the night. I do want to. We're not going to go into depth. We actually had so much. We're going to have to start getting some more Wednesday and Thursday shows to break some of this up. We don't even got to play the bumper. I wanted to play one. I want to talk about one story that I saw when I was going through this. This is bizarre, bro. Missing former NFL player Sergio Brown reportedly surfaces in Mexico. Okay, so I see the headline and I go, hey, this happens sometimes, like when I was in Key West, there was one floor, like we went to the Florida, like we were in Key West and like they had just, like you go there and get lost. Like, so this former player just went and turned into like basically an alcoholic homeless person in Key West, right? It happens to people in Key West. I don't know. So I'm like, oh man, a former player, kind of just goes off the grid or something. And then I started reading this, and this is wild, bro. And it's even more wild after I did what I didn't even put in the clip that I'm going to tell you about next. It says this: former NFL player Sergio Brown has reportedly surfaced in Mexico after his family reported him missing this week. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, perfect. Myrtle Brown, the former safety's mother, was found dead on Saturday. Police located the body of Myrtle Brown, 73, near a creek outside her home in suburban Chicago. Authorities were called when her friends and family were unable to contact Myrtle or Sergio. According to CNN, the cause of death was ruled a homicide. On Monday, a video surfaced on Instagram of Brown tagged with a location in Mexico City before being deleted. In the video, the former Bills player went on a rant during which he claims he believed his mom was on vacation. Fake news, Brown claimed, tagging ESPN. It has to be the FBI that came to my house on Bob Marley's death day with the 511 haze and gas unwarranted. They kidnapped me twice from my home, the Maywood Police Department. It had to be the FBI or the Maywood Police, he said. I thought my effing mom was on vacation. Now, bizarre. And now there's rumors that on a Ring camera bell or something, he's seen burning her clothes. This story is freaking wild. Yeah, Sergio, I mean, whoa, and whoa.
My mom was the first person to send me this story. She asked
like,
me
don't do this to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's wild, man.
All right, I couldn't get. All right, that's the news for us tonight. We've got that's the show. We got one final segment to rock through. It's the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. Somehow we got out of here by 12:24. CK is over there, man. He is itching to go because he stayed up late with me last night doing the post game show. Yes, Greg. Yeah. But Greg, you'll stay here and argue till the sun comes up.
You're damn right I will.
CK will be like, I gotta go to bed. I got a little baby in the house, but we gotta get some ice ups in real quick. Cody, Lack, let's ice some fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
All right. The Ice Up segment is the longest running Panthers podcast segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. 10 years in, also the longest running show. We're 3.5 hours into the show. Guys, this is our time to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. I'm going to roll through mine super quick. All right. And they're not like, I know they're multiple, but CK, don't be scared. It's going to be okay. Number one is this. This, whatever this is, I don't know if this is what kind of dating app or whatever it is. Addie, 33. She loves God. She's a virgin, willing to change for the right person, but also a single mother. So Addie, I'm glad that your baby daddy didn't take your virginity. This one I thought was weird. I took my girlfriend's little sister out on a date so she knows how a guy should treat her when she gets older. This is bizarre, and the ice up to this weird nonsense, and all the comments were like grooming. Yeah,
100%, dude. This
is my favorite one right here. Don't do this.
God.
All right. Also, did you guys see that Lauren Breitbart went on a date? Lauren Breitbart,
I heard about this today.
Fell up. Look, because she's got great fake boobs now. So he's like, hey, I've never touched fake boobs. Look, let me touch this. Then they're like teenagers in a movie theater.
Yeah, it's just like
feeling each other up.
Did you hear Howard Stern was giving her shit for this?
Really? Well, a lot of people were talking about this. Is like, oh man, you had to use an infrared camera. Leave the girl alone. Well, what's even also, first of all, the pictures of her floating around. Those fake boobs make her look crazy hot now. She did not always have those boobs. Second, this guy who is feeling her up owns this bar who had a transgender, what do they have it when the transgenders do a show? Drag show.
Drag show.
So she comes out against how. So she's anti-drag show. She's talking about how in public they're sexualizing the world. She's in public sexualizing the world with someone who made money off a drag show. And this one right here is not an ice up pick, but a congratulations to this dude. This dude had eight wide receivers. He bet 80 yards more on each one of them. $8 bet. Guess who won it for him? Chris Olave.
Oh shit!
$8 wager paid out $59,000.
Yeah.
That's not an ice up. That's a fire up, bro. You the man. Ice up. Those are my picks, guys. You're up.
Yeah, man. All right. So, mine. I'm just gonna warn you now. It's pretty shitty.
Oh no.
Did they blur her face out, or is it just bad lighting?
3. Are y'all ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go, boys. Let's go, girls. Come on. Get in. Devontae, all the way. Stay in. Y'all got this. Let's go.
Is it cold? Oh, she pooped.
Oh my God, dude, she shit all over the place. And the girl right next to her doesn't even know what's happening, dude. Oh, man.
Nope. Had to hit her, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was an ice bath. I mean, they were already on ice, technically. But yeah. Don't.
She shit in an ice bath. ice.
Yeah, literally, she shit in the ice bath. Last one. Very simple. Apparently, there's a dude who is going around to these escape rooms and just putting a lock on the door. He's locking them in, and then he's giving them a clue on a piece of paper how to unlock the door.
I love it.
Look at the frustration on your face. It's like, all right, you're fucking kidding me. Oh, dude. I don't know whether to ice him up or to congratulate him.
I like the creativity.
I know. Imagine you're a worker that lives there. You're about to go home, and then someone does this shit to you. Oh, man.
Look, I just did an escape room for the first time a couple weeks ago. They are fun. I would laugh my ass off if somebody did that to me when I was trying to walk out the door.
God. All right.
I'm not an employee there, so.
Why, Kevin? You must have done it together. Does anybody else got ice up picks while we're here?
I do. I actually have 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I came into tonight with at least one. Another one developed throughout the night, but I got ice up JJ for his little weak ass backtrack he tried to do last night on the show, and he tried to call and make an excuse for it tonight. But I don't care, dude. I'm pulling tape for Friday free for all of you giving me shit about liking CJ Stroud, and then your little backtrack means nothing. So you've been pulling for Bryce Young this whole time. You've been giving me shit for Bryce Young this whole time, and now that Bryce Young is playing like shit, you want to try to backtrack to sound good. So I'm not letting that happen. You're not off the hook. I'm icing you up, and then throughout the show, I gotta say, man, Cody and Tony, I'm icing you up.
Oh God,
I'm icing y'all up because a few minutes ago, Cody literally just tried to argue that because Bryce Young is small and not a great quarterback, that's a benefit. That's a benefit for us. Okay, guess what? CJ Henderson is a terrible wide receiver or a terrible DB. That's a benefit for us because we should draft DBs. My car broke down. That's a benefit for me because I should get a new car. That is the weakest ass excuse I've ever heard. I don't want to hear that shit. Stop defending this man when he hasn't done shit.
All right.
Bryce Young being bad is not a benefit for Carolina, especially when we don't have a draft pick next year to fix this. It's not a benefit. There is no argument. Ice up.
All right, he said ice up. Look, everybody's with you. Tim Estes is with you. CK, you got one?
I do.
Oh, wow.
I do. So there's this artist a couple of years ago that, and this is another country, some Copenhagen, some place over there in Copenhagen. Jens Hanning was supposed to create works of art with a $76,000, whatever they pay, what do they call that to pay artists to,
patronage or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But instead, the artist created a piece of art that was a blank canvas that they named "Take the Money and Run." And so they sued the artist, saying it was a breach of contract. They won. The artist is required to give the money back.
That's great.
I thought that was funny. So I'm just saying to the museum and that artist, "Eyes up, son."
Like you should almost just put one brush stroke and say it was almost worth it. Or all right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. We're here every Tuesday night into the wee hours of Wednesday morning. We'll be back throughout the week. We've got film rooms coming. We've got the Friday free for all. We've got the news, the beat checks. We got the post game show. A lot of stuff coming. I want to thank every single listener. All the donations tonight were incredible. You make us feel great. The calls are overwhelming. Overwhelm us with the likes, the shares, subscribes. You see the names. You see how to reach them on the screen. Cody Lack, take us out of here.
C3 Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.
Doctors take Field of Greens for their own health. Here's Dr. Ryan Green to explain.
We're like you, too much fast food and not enough exercise. That's why I take Field of Greens. The fruits and vegetables in Field of Greens support my heart, lungs, kidneys, and metabolism for weight loss. And Field of Greens promises your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back.
Get 15% off with promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. That's promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. Product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.